Hello there, and welcome to the United States Department of Nerds, where we are for the people, by the people, and of the people.
It's a trap!
I told you that was a banger. All right, everybody. I seen that. Y'all should have seen it backstage. It was leaning with it and rocking with it. All right, so everybody, I got Gibbs with me tonight, as always. My brother from another mother. And then
What up? What up?
I'm borrowing Ben from Bill from the pop break. Somebody new. So welcome a new council member in. And also, I was told that he is the commander of our hearts. The poor fella is a Washington Commanders fan.
Poor fellow is a very good explanation for that.
We'll hold it against
Jesus.
you. We feel for you, buddy.
It's a sad existence for sure.
And I thought it was
Not
bad
being a Falcons fan.
I'm a Bears fan, so hey,
We're
but we've
all
had a good
suffering
preseason.
lately.
We are definitely all suffering.
Wait. How many Super Bowls have the Bears won?
We have one, but it was before my birth.
How many Super Bowls the Commanders have?
Hey, I was alive, so yeah, we're rocking with the 4 right now.
Now ask me how many Super Bowls did the Falcons have?
You almost had one.
It's fair. We have
Shut
your
up.
coach.
Shut your mouth. Shut your filthy mouth. We didn't almost have one. We've been to two.
28-3, okay? 28-3.
Shut the hell up.
I'm hoping that Dan Quinn has learned a little bit from that experience, and now he's with us. So.
Oh, he's learned from it, all right. Never can keep a good QB down. But we're not here to talk about
that wasn't Dan
football.
Quinn, that was Cal Shanabaum's fault. But that's it. I'm done.
But we are not here to talk about football. We are here to talk about something that has been plaguing Southern California since the 1980s, and that is juvenile delinquency, and how two men who were prior juvenile delinquents are trying to remedy this through karate. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't figured it out by now, we are talking about Cobra Kai Season 6, Part 1. And by the way, this is the first show off the top of my head that has gotten a 6th season through Amazon.
Netflix.
Oh, Netflix, yeah.
Netflix.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Netflix.
I'm not a company man or anything, but yeah, Netflix is where you'll find it.
You're right. Hey, if you really want to get technical, this started out as YouTube.
YouTube, man. Yeah, I watched
2
it there
seasons on
first.
YouTube. Yep, I did too.
2 seasons on YouTube.
It's gritty roots
Heck
before it
yeah.
had a lot of funding.
And it got a lot of funding.
Yeah.
All right, can y'all still see me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can never know if anybody can still see me while I'm behind the scenes
I
trying
can see you.
because
Man,
I'm trying to
just-
share stuff.
Just brought a nice like dark ambiance, thing going on now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I gotta share stuff in the background, so it's one of those. It's multitasking that I'm not very good at behind the scenes. I'm just playing. I'm pretty good at it. But again, we are talking about juvenile delinquency and the two men responsible for trying to eliminate that in Southern California, won by Johnny Lawrence and Ralph. No, what's his name? What is his last?
Yeah, Johnny
LaRusso.
Lawrence.
Johnny Lawrence.
And
Johnny
then
Lawrence
Danny
and
LaRusso.
Danny LaRusso. That's
Yeah.
it.
Danielson.
That's the fellas. And I'm almost
Who's
there.
really to blame for all of this?
He really is. If he wouldn't have cheated with that illegal swan kick, we would not
It
be in this
wasn't even that
situation.
that cheated. If he would have just minded his own business, none of this would have happened.
We're going deep into the origins of Karate Kid. I used to play those movies. Like, I know they're recorded off the TV, like VHS tapes for sure, for a long time.
Yeah.
So,
All right, I'm back on. Yeah, it gets a little squirrely with me sometimes when I'm behind the scenes and it doesn't like me to share stuff the proper way. But yeah, a little backstory for everybody. And that we just went through there with this a little history of where we're at right now with Cobra Kai, which is cool because I'd rather it not be split into 3 parts. I'd rather they just gave it to us all. But
you probably would have binged it all by now, and you would just be, sad that it's gone.
I would be, but
exactly.
But at the same time, we'd be sitting here doing a finale instead of a part 1 of season 6, which I'm cool with too. I actually like it like this because I can do a smaller episode. There you go. Because I could do a smaller episode about it and then throw in something else on top of it, which is what we're doing tonight with a whole nother different set of juvenile delinquents later.
Much more delinquents, I believe.
Very much so. So, yeah,
these 5 episodes are just jam-packed with delicious goodiness.
They were, dude. It was, we got the Peacetime in the Valley for episode 1. We get some college in there because they're all seniors in high school now. And then we get to the very end where we're in what was it? Italy is where it's going to take place, I think.
I forget where they actually ended up putting it. Yeah,
or
maybe
Germany, something like that.
Yeah, it's
Barcelona.
A good setup for the tournament. Barcelona, okay.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Let's run it episode by episode here. So let's hit up episode 1, Peacetime in the Valley, where the Miyagi-Do students struggle to put aside past rivalries while training for the Sekai Tekkei World Karate Tournament. And of course, Johnny and Chozen are clashing over rebranding the dojo. Kenny is becoming a little juvenile delinquent, just like his brother. And then the return of Cobra Kai again, this time in Korea. So I really enjoyed this episode. It was a great way to reintroduce everybody and to get kind of a vibe of where this season was going to go.
Yeah. It was mostly peaceful.
It was mostly peaceful.
Too long, but
no. By the end of the episode, we got, well, not even at the mid. I think it was probably like halfway through the episode, we got the batting cages brawl.
Yeah. And Johnny and Chozen were trying to fight off the bat too about the names. So
yep.
What are you going to call the dojo thing? Constant argument, and they're ready to throw down, just work out some of their inner demons that they've had going on. But
and also
failed there.
This Chozen finally broke his father's board that he never could in this episode as well, which I thought was kind of like one of those full circle moment from the 80s to the 2024. And I know Gibbs had brought that up, like when we were discussing this earlier dates. He's like, dude, we got to talk about the board. So
girls will do that to you. That was his final moment, just talking about how he got rejected.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, she didn't. Yeah, I kind of feel bad from Chozen because it just hadn't stopped since the 80s.
No, it really hasn't. First, Danny steals his girl, and then he gets his girl back, and then his girl's like, Sorry, dude.
Can't
But
get a
I'm out
text
of
back.
here. I'm out of here.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
never
he
recommend getting
was
drunk and
able.
like pouring your heart out, but
Yeah,
He's a fighter, though. He's a fighter. He's not going to let it go that easy.
no.
he might
So
be a little happy in the old Miyagi-Do little little room and just renting out a little space there from Danny. Seems pretty content.
Hey,
He needs
yeah,
needs some better Wi-Fi connectivity there though.
it's the
oh
simple
yeah,
things in
most
life.
definitely.
It's the simple things in life there. So, out of all of these characters that we have been introduced to throughout the series, which one to y'all has been y'all's kind of like hands down, like the one person you're really rooting for in all of this?
I mean, the person to me that makes the show, and I think the reason he was able to come back in the first place was Johnny Lawrence, just because
Yeah,
he's got the
Yeah.
nostalgic elements. He was bringing back an original character, and then it's not very often that and that's what I talked about in the review. Like I love the fact that the show even exists because it took a villain, standard villain, and then gave him like a background origin story. Kind of what they've tried to do with all the villains from the show really is give them a little bit more
Humanized
depth.
him.
Yeah, humanizing everybody. So it was great to see like Johnny coming around, and it's not that Johnny's super successful now and like he's a nice guy. It was that he was really at rock bottom and he's just trying to work
Yeah.
his way up, and he's just always good for a little bit of edge to add to the show.
Mhm.
Got to drop an F-bomb here or there, got to say something horribly inappropriate at the wrong time. He's good for everybody to play off of. And he's probably got most of the good one-liners and stuff like that too. So
Yeah.
he's
And
been he's
he's
been my
definitely got the
favorite.
best music.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously. I don't know about vehicle. His van is a little suspect. But,
Oh, come on, man.
he's
The Eagle Fang Karate van is by
yeah,
far the best vehicle in this show.
he can't wait to park that thing outside and let everybody know who the new king of the neighborhood is. Like he's
Exactly.
talking to the real estate. That's gonna be in the driveway every night. Yeah, he's great.
Johnny is the epitome of the guy that peaked in high school, and everybody else went on to do other stuff, and he's just kind of that guy that's still back home.
Yeah.
Sometimes life has kicked him in the nuts, but and
We
he's
all
Face.
know a
he's that
Johnny.
guy.
We all know a Johnny. I could go home right now and I'm going to talk to at least 2 or 3 other Johnnies.
There we go.
They're not named Johnny, but they are definitely Johnny Lawrence. Actually, one of them I think his name actually is, he goes by Johnny, but that's beside the point.
Well, he's
But
trying to
when
turn it around though.
yeah,
He'll
and
tell you about it, but he's still there. All right, I know for me, like my one character that I have rooted for the entire 6 seasons or since they were introduced has been Peyton Listis, Tori Nichols. That to me, she's kind of like the up and coming Johnny Lawrence with a little bit more attitude. And by damn, I want this girl to win so bad. Like I
I
do.
don't. I
Like
don't.
Oh,
what? What?
No.
Bro.
spoiler
Team
episode 6.
Sam
She is
all
on
the
the opposite
way.
side again, but
Exactly. Come on.
How? I mean, that girl's been through it all.
Oh my
She
God.
deserves just a little bit. Just a little, man.
No, what she deserves is to grow the fuck up and
She
saddle up, and they were trying to help her. She couldn't get out of her own damn way. Okay, now you know what? You're right about one thing. She is the new age Johnny Lawrence, and when this is all over, she's gonna be the one that's tooling around Reseda looking for shit to do.
Yep. But I want a little sunshine for her. I mean, because this girl had a rough first
She
part of
did.
the season.
She did. I cannot deny that. She had some rough stuff going on, but you know, one, you saw that her and Sam were finally getting to a place where they were okay. And
Mm-hmm.
then the other stuff happened.
Yep.
And it's just like the shots hit. Instead of leaning into people that have shown you that they're going to be there, she kind of disappeared. And left old boy just trying to figure out where the hell is my girlfriend.
Little
And
Johnny.
yeah, look, she had her things, and I understand that, but then you come back and you're even pissed at him. Come on.
Yeah, it's
What was
tough. I mean, I agree though that she's probably been one of the more compelling characters on the show, and she's had to kind of carry a lot of the more dramatic moments. So that piece of it's kind of interesting because I mean, not that it's lighthearted to see people beat the crap out of each other, but she's dealing with more emotional trauma, I think, on the
Mhm.
side. So yeah, her character has been
Between
through a lot, but she is gives this point making the wrong choice in terms of going back to the old ways, like at the first opportunity of something coming up and getting in her way again. So you'd like to see her make a smarter choice. 6 episodes in of this, well, 5 episodes into this season, but 6 seasons in. But I think a lot of it is all these characters tend to go through that same formula of like making
mhm.
the same mistakes over and over again, bringing up the same past issues, but
Between
trying
her
to
and
break
Robbie,
through.
man.
Yeah,
Which is funny because Robbie is really little Johnny. Like literally. That's his kid.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
He seems to be on the other end of things now. So if you're looking for somebody
Mhm.
that kind of took the right path for the most part, he
He's
seems pretty
trying.
level headed at this point. Yeah,
Yep.
he's got to get a W though. Kid needs a win in this
Hey,
tournament.
hey, he's on track to get his dub. He's definitely on the track. So we move into episode 2 here, and we see that Kreese is getting ready to face a dangerous test to prove his worthiness. As Daniel offers Johnny a helping hand while the teens contemplate life beyond high school. And I know, Rod, this is something you wanted to talk about, which is we finally see a karate master finally representative of every kung fu movie we've ever seen.
The old white hair master.
With the beard, with the beard.
With the
Master
beard.
Kim. Master Kim, man. And it was kind of
How
cool.
old is
This
Master
is
Kim now? Trying to figure
The dude's got to be about 125 at least.
it.
at minimum. Because, I mean, he was old when we see him in the flashbacks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this guy has been around meditating in the hills of Korea for quite some time now.
Yeah, you could tell
So,
Kreese was a little shocked to see him alive. He was like,
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And in the back flashbacks, he was beating the hell out of old girl. He's like,
Bro.
you
His
want to learn?
own granddaughter. Like, he was
Hey,
tossing his granddaughter little ass whippings that were like adult size. That was a
she had
tough little
to
girl.
earn it.
got to be a little better way about going about earning it. I hope. Like the poor thing was like hiding behind a rock, and he rolls up like, man. Yeah,
Swift kick right in the ass will fix it every time.
Hey, she had to earn it, and then once she earned it, look at her now. Look at her now.
Yeah.
Spreading Cobra Kai through around the ages. I
Yeah, and she seemed to be doing pretty well before Kreese got there. I don't know that he's helping matters probably with the actual Cobra Kai unit at this point.
No,
Oh
and
God.
and one of the things, like the whole reason for him going there is because there's no way they were going to let Cobra Kai that they knew in the area of California compete in the Seketake. I think that's how I'm probably butchering the shit out of that, but we're rolling with Seketake.
I think I knew how to say it before you started saying it. Now I might have gotten it wrong if I try to
Yeah,
say
now we're
it.
all messed up. The
I think it
Sekai
was more of a
Taka.
Saikai Taikai, yeah, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
More
What they're
rhyme.
saying.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, he's got to
hang
leave the
on.
country anyway, right? So he he
Yep.
kind of had to go to Korea if he wanted to do anything, and he can leave from Korea and go to the tournament, but he definitely wasn't flying out of the U.S. to go to the tournament. So
Oh hell
we're
no.
not gonna try to figure out how it is that he got to Korea in the first place, but
Dude,
we'll just
he's a
gloss over that.
fugitive.
Yeah,
How he got on an airplane with his passport is still beyond
I don't think he got
any.
on the airplane.
no way. He had to have caught like a freight train ship or something to like get off
A
the
freighter.
coast somewhere, then bounce around a few times. I
Yeah,
don't know. He found his
yeah,
ways. He was former military, right? So he got
yeah. True. He's got his
Yeah.
ways. He's got his
got his ways.
ways.
But
But
yeah, you talked about like the flashbacks, but then also like his his little quest that he had to go on with the Cobra.
Oh my god.
ooh, we just started. I think it goes to until episode 3. I think.
Is that into 3? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's. I think it like he finishes his quest in 3.
That was interesting.
Yeah, I think it
Very
is 3.
interesting.
We can go ahead and let's hammer out this quest that he went on. His
It's like an Aaron Rodgers ayahuasca trip type thing that he's got going on.
Yeah.
dude.
Except
Yes,
He's bit by a snake and then starts tripping.
I mean, he could have been up in upstate New York smoking peyote with what's his name from God, what was his name? Ricky Williams.
Oh my god.
He's like, oh, I'm supposed to report the football camp? Dude, I've been up in upstate New York smoking peyote in a teepee. Like, okay, dude.
No, that whole thing was it was hilarious to me because I mean some of the campiness from the 80s certainly came out, which I appreciate. But Kreese has always been such a laughable villain.
Yes.
Like especially. Go ahead.
If there's a villain you ever just wanted to see fail, that's the villain. He's kind of like Skeletor. You know what I'm saying? Like he has all these dastardly plans, but he's just gonna fall on his face some way or the other.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was pretty formidable in Karate Kid as just being like the straight up like asshole. He didn't really have any dimensions to him, whether he was just a jerk. So I appreciate that they tried to bring like something to his character, show all of his backstory with everything that they've done. But then it's weird because I feel like Cobra Kai kind of like realized that they ran out of villains and they needed to cycle back through some people. So they're like, okay, he's got to be a jerk again. So we're gonna have to bring it about.
We arrested Silver in season 5, so we can't circle back to that.
And Terry is building furniture.
Yeah, but I do like his cameo in the first part of this season, though, and I think we get that in episode 4.
4, yeah.
Outsider to pick the team, yeah.
So here's a funny tidbit of information for you, Rob. You've been to Korea, right?
Yes.
There are no known venomous snakes in the Republic of Korea. Not one. So the fact that in this one cave where this Master Kim's lost his family knife, that there is this one albino magic cobra is like a 1 in 1 million.
He might have been tripping the whole thing. So
I thought that too. I thought he was probably poisoned before he went up there and was tripping on something else. It was a little gecko lizard that he thought was a cobra.
Yeah, but it was either that or selling him insurance.
Either that or Mr. Kim put the snake there himself.
Something.
Just a fucking troll Kreese.
The whole sequence was definitely the one thing that was like, why? I feel like we're taking a little bit of time away from the story at hand, and I feel like you could have solved this in an easier way. But he needed they somehow wanted to come about him confronting like Johnny Lawrence, and Johnny Lawrence being his weakness was like the idea that they wanted to have, and that he in his mind needed to defeat, I guess, Johnny Lawrence this time, and Miyagi-Do to somehow like overcome whatever's eating him up. But yeah, it was just a weird way of getting there.
We went the long way around to get to a simple solution, but you know what? That was like everything about that said 1980s action movie.
Very Empire Strikes Back. Let's go
very
confront
much
yourself in the cave kind of thing. So
exactly.
Only what you take with you.
And there he goes.
I will say this one really gave us a really good action sequence though when the kids go to the local junior college and they meet up with
Oh, the punk from the asshole, the old boyfriend.
Yeah,
You were correct.
exactly. Yes. I didn't write down his name because he didn't.
Kyler
Yeah,
Park.
that's
Yes.
him. There you go. I didn't write his name down because he was only in the one episode, and he was like he got his his another 10 minutes of fame out of this, which was really cool because that was a great fight sequence in the
In the frat house.
at the frat house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was definitely one of my favorite examples of like the fights that they've done where they can. It was a cool setting. Like you got the music going. I like the way that it all got set up, and then they're just
And
like
you had the
fighting with
pool
like
table and
pool cues, and everybody's flying around, kind of fighting in their own way.
it's the high school kids, of course, that once again start the fight. And it was of all people, Miguel. Miguel is like, you know what? I don't like these guys being dicks to this dude. And it's
gotta
like, hey,
stand up
dude,
for 'em.
you know karate. Let's go whoop these dudes' ass. Like, Miguel, really? What would your mommy say?
She say, "Thank good on you for standing up for somebody who clearly was being bullied and defenseless
And it was
against
funny. And
it."
it's like, dude, you know karate. What are you doing? Just laying down for these fellas.
Yeah.
But I get it.
It's
He
fun,
wants
yeah.
to be a part of something. He wants to be a part of this frat house. And
And then I think the straw that broke the camel's back is when they were like, "Yeah, we're never gonna let you in," because he clearly hurt them. So all that it was just bullying and fucking with him. And he was like, "Yeah, they're not going to." And then they were like, "Yeah, we're not." Ha ha! And that's when it all went down.
ass
But
whoopings for everybody.
Or the
he
drink.
got invited to another
Fraternity. A cooler
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Apparently where all the cool kids hang out.
I did love the beer bottle sequence. I think they like knocked it out of one guy's hand, caught it, and then he hit him over the head with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's great how often, I mean, this is just one example, but how often these like high school kids, underage people can just beat the ever living crap out of people and like assault with weapons and never do like real jail time. It's always just like still slap on the wrist and go.
Hey, when
there's
your
some
your
Yeah.
brutal
daddy's got
fights.
money, man. Your daddy's got money.
Half of
But
these
also,
things are attempted murder.
the police department needs new cars. Hey, swing by LaRusso Auto Group and we got you. Just
must
don't
be
arrest
the,
my child again.
the other takeaway from this whole college frat sojourn journey, yes,
We'll roll with that.
was uh, was Hawk actually
Yep.
going, I kind of like this
Mhm.
environment. Maybe I don't want to go to MIT,
Yep.
and maybe I want to just
Huh?
be a frat bro, which
Listen to
he's
my
totally
mom.
turned into a frat head.
Yeah. I mean, they probably don't have as many opportunities for you to chug beers and put them on your spikes,
Bro.
Yeah, yeah,
at
at
MIT.
MIT.
Yeah, it can be a little bit more busy studying. So yeah, he might just want a minute to figure himself out before he goes down that road. So yeah, I think that was big, for him, and that kind of sets the whole dilemma up for him for the rest of the season too.
Oh yeah,
That was one of those good like secondary stories. They kept going until the end of episode 5. Really,
yes.
was the whole MIT thing, and finally, we'll get there. But also in this episode, Johnny starts working at LaRusso Auto Group.
Working in quotations, yeah.
I don't know how LaRusso expected this to go, but Johnny is Johnny, and Johnny's never really gonna change.
No, but Johnny sells.
Somehow in like 5 minutes he sells a car.
Exactly.
And he wasn't even a salesman.
No, he was supposed to be like washing the cars or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what killed me. He wasn't even supposed to be a salesman, and he sells a car within 5 minutes. And then he's like, "Yeah, where's my office gonna be? What's this?"
I was hoping they would do something where it was like, I can't believe I got such a great deal. And like he had sold the car for like 10,000 under value or something, like just giving her some crazy deal that wasn't real. I have no idea how he negotiated that one.
Johnny being Johnny, he's
Exactly.
He was charismatic for a reason.
Yeah, and Miss LaRusso was in there like because he had a briefcase. I love the line where it was like, "What do you think's in the briefcase?" It's like,
Yeah.
what is he carrying
Adam
around in
would
that
have.
thing?
You know there was not a damn thing in there. Maybe some snacks and a couple of short boys.
Yeah, I think she said like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or something. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Heck
Very
yeah.
funny.
My daughter's been in here twice now to interrupt, and I
She likes Cobra
apologize.
Kai.
No,
Cobra Kai.
she's actually packing. We're doing the drop off Thursday for college, and
Uh-oh.
yeah, I'm gonna need a few days after this to cry and pick myself back up. But
Tell her, remember
get there.
Sam.
Yeah,
Exactly. Speaking of Sam and Tori lose their killer instinct, so Johnny devises a plan to get their killer instinct back.
Well, it isn't so much the killer instinct. They'll sound off against everybody, but they didn't want to hurt their budding friendship.
Yes, and how can you blame them? I mean, those two have been through like a lot of shit.
yeah.
And now they're like finally starting to see eye to eye on things. Now that there isn't a boy, kind of distracting them both. Even though one of them is still with Robbie and the other with Miguel. Did they swap partners?
Yeah, maybe multiple times. I can't remember, but at some point, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. STDs, people.
It's just the good old teenage melodrama. They've got everybody
There we
dated
go.
everybody. It's like Saved by the Bell all over again. They all dated
I was going to
everybody.
say the heights. I was going to say the heights.
The heights.
More Saved by the Bell guy myself, but yeah.
Zach Morris is an asshole. Have you ever seen that Facebook group?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yes.
He's trash. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
Zach
is
Morris is trash. Yeah.
He is trash.
And then also in episode 3, a shocking discovery turns Daniel's world upside down, and we'll jump into that. And
Yeah.
by the way, that we learn in this episode the tournament is going to be held in Barcelona, Spain. I think that's where Barcelona is.
Yeah. Barcelona.
Confirmed.
And
Yep.
we learned that there can only be 6 fighters per team.
That's a problem.
Yeah, when you got
That's a
like
big problem.
13, no, they had like 20 something kids at this point.
They combined all the dojos, so they got a ton of people. There's a lot of background actors that you never get to know anything about, and then a couple
But
that
they
popped up for 5 minutes.
let's be real. There was only a handful that was like guaranteed.
Yes.
That, so
and we all knew who they were.
the big, you got Robbie, Miguel, Sam, Tori. So that left legitimately two spots that were left for everybody else to fight over.
Maybe 4 or 5 people that could really contend for those spots too. So it was a little bit of drama in there.
I mean, so we knew Hawk, Dimitri, Kenny, and Little LaRusso were probably like, okay, of those 4, it's going to be 2 of those.
I thought the old girl who did get the spot,
Devin Lee, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
I don't want to forget Devin because Devin will come around and snake you when you don't expect it.
Yeah, I like
in
Devin.
the worst way.
Except for her terrible actions on her part. Obviously, she'll have to learn from her mistakes like everybody else on the show. But competition got the best of her.
It really did. I think that's that's the next episode. We'll talk about the brown belt.
The brown belt.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wrong.
It really is, and it's heartbreaking because that's
but
not
they
the way
find
to
out
go.
that they find out that Miyagi had another life.
Yes, yeah, that's our big takeaway from this one. Other than Sam and Tori trying to get their killer instincts back, but we learned that Mr. Miyagi, isn't all he is cracked up to be in the eyes of the Saint Daniel LaRusso. Well, actually, I guess in this case it would be Saint Miyagi.
Yeah. It was a weird plot point. I understood how they wanted to try to keep him relevant to the story in some way, but I don't know. Maybe they'll get something out of it and it'll kind of evolve a little bit more in part 2, part 3. But as it is right now, if that's like the whole arc, I don't know that I really understood
Yeah.
why they went that route.
Well, there,
It didn't really work.
there's something that they found in the box that he didn't realize until like the last episode or something.
Yeah.
But he realizes that I'm gonna jump forward just a little bit just for this because it's
No, go
pertinent in
for it.
finding that box. Is he found out that Miyagi was not only had not only fought in the Sekai Taikai, he was a captain in the
Captain.
Sekai
Yep.
Taikai. You know, because he had the bloodstained captain's
That's right. Yeah,
bandana.
Yep.
You
And
know,
you
so
also
that
learned that he was a botzer. He boxed.
yeah.
I mean, we followed the clues here, and we end up at this shady ass boxing gym, which I don't know if any of y'all have ever been to a boxing gym before. They all look that way. Every single one of them.
Yeah, I really don't see why that caused him to have, some heartache about, Miyagi. Yeah, Miyagi was multifaceted,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a fucking human at the end of the day. I get within Daniel's eyes from when Daniel can remember him that he was, this saint of a human who taught him how to be an adult, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it was a way to go, and there'll probably be a lot more of it, like you were talking about, that actually comes out once they get to the tournament. They can learn, like, I guess, his role there when he was there. Did he win the tournament? Like, what else kind of happened? Maybe they'll be able to
How
evolve it a
brutal
little bit
was it?
more. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, and if you were talking about who was it? Was it okay? Somebody was talking about people with, like, did they say people had died there or had
Yeah.
just been injured there?
Yeah.
So
No,
I mean, it's
people had
supposed to
died
be a hell of
there.
a tournament. So
And we're talking like not just like their local, karate tournament down in the valley. We're talking like the world here, and it's like the Kumite for teenagers.
they're like turning it into blood sport or something right now. Like, I don't know where
Exactly.
they're going with it.
Hey, I mean, once you start talking about people dying, I mean, we
I
can
want to
play
see
the.
someone do the Dimmock.
Yeah. I mean, hey, the
Hey,
boys that they're bringing
LaRusso
over from
did it
Cobra Kai are the real deal. So
when they
it's gonna be
visited.
yeah.
When they visited Japan, and what was it, part 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did
He
yeah.
did a version of it with ice.
Well, he didn't select and say, no, this brick.
But he could have just as well.
Oh yeah. I think all of that is going to show that Miyagi, that there was. I think they were just ultimately trying to say, hey, there's more to this guy. He's
Yeah.
not, oh, he isn't what you think, or you thought, because Miyagi didn't tell him everything.
No.
Even when you look at his war record and what happened to Miyagi's wife and all that stuff, Miyagi didn't have deep conversations with him about it. He found those things and he helped him, but Miyagi didn't go into detail about it.
No,
That
he
was,
never really went into it. So, but I wonder how much of this backstory with Mr. Miyagi right now we're getting in this season is going to play into the Ralph Macchio Karate Kid movie that is planned, I think, for 2025. So I'm wondering if they're building something that they can play back into the movie when it comes out, with because it's Ralph Macchio and I think Jackie Chan, and there's like another karate. There's a new kid, I think. I'm not real
they're
sure.
gonna bring Jason back. They're gonna bring Jaden back.
No, I hope not.
You're the best.
Really? Yeah.
To be honest, I wasn't even aware that they were making like a movie or going like full
Yeah,
circle.
yeah.
So that would be a change
Yeah.
for me. They should bring back Hilary Swank. Let's go with Hilary Swank.
Oh Jesus!
Oh,
The
bro.
next Karate Kid, man.
The
The
next
next
Karate Kid. We're
Man,
forgetting
what are we
one, damn
doing
it.
here?
I have been waiting this whole time for her to make a cameo.
I mean,
I have been waiting this whole time.
that would actually be interesting if they. I don't.
Hey, we
Being that
still
it's Hilary Swank, I
got
don't know that we'll see her, but we'll see.
2 more parts, so who knows?
Yeah, it would be
I mean,
cool
they
if she
did
just
bring
showed up
back
at the tournament.
the love interest from the first movie last
Yeah,
season in season
Well, that was
5.
to help Miguel with his broken back.
yeah, we got. Yeah, I guess I could see Elizabeth Shue coming back a lot more than I could see Hilary Swank coming back to the. Especially, I don't know how well received she was in her part of the Karate Kid franchise, so maybe she would take a step back. But this is a way to kind of redeem
She
yourself.
was received about as well as Jaden was.
Yeah,
And Jackie
well, that's
Chan
interesting.
replacing Mr. Miyagi.
I mean, if somebody's going to replace him, then Jackie Chan. Yeah,
I
Yeah,
would go Jackie Chan over anybody else.
I
yeah, for
think they're
sure.
brothers or cousins or something. I don't know.
To
Distant
be honest, I didn't
relations.
see that one. I have
I
not seen that.
I
Karate
was
Kid
waiting
movie.
for the Rush Hour joke in there.
Oh, they're brothers. That's exactly where I was going with that.
I was waiting for you to finish it. I was like, wait, are we just gonna stop it right there, or there's like
Oh yeah.
you're gonna continue that one? I got my lunch money from the 3rd grade.
I ain't giving you nothing. But that's I think it's all going to flow together, and maybe they'll do one more Karate Kid movie
Yeah,
from stemming from this, and then after that they might do another depending on the reception of that one.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
eh.
untitled Karate Kid movie. I had to IMDb it right now. May
Yeah, I told
30th,
you, man.
2025.
Ben,
That's
I just don't make up stuff, man.
no,
I,
I believed you. I was just like, this is so random, and
it, it
I
it
was not
really is. So
didn't know.
I could honestly see it being Daniel LaRusso and his son, possibly. Like
I
it's
can't
come.
stand the son.
I can't either. I think he's a whiny little bitch, but at the same time, I could
Took it an
see them
extra
doing
level.
that.
I
And
like Jaden better. I like Jaden's Karate Kid better than his son, Daniel's son. If I had to choose between the two of them, I'd rather Jaden comes back than Daniel's son
yeah,
do
but
anything.
Jaden's like 35 or something.
He's not 35. He's in his early
Uh,
20s.
Yeah, but still.
they're still searching for who the next Karate Kid is
Yeah,
going to be. Compared to
there's
this,
actually a contest to find
it
the
does
next
have
Karate
Joshua
Kid.
Jackson in it though, so we get Pacey Winters come and join this cast. Mr. Mighty Duck himself too.
Nice.
Hey, if you're gonna throw
I'm on
90s
board with this movie.
nostalgia in there, if you're gonna do it, I mean,
Quack,
shit.
quack.
So also, before we jump into episode 4 and 5 here, we go back to Korea and Kreese has found his new Johnny with Quan and kind of like turns him into his pet project, like his new equalizer, if you want to go that way. So
Quan's a badass. You can
Quan
tell.
was a legit, like, he's had zero fuss. That if there's a guy living the zero fuss life, it was that guy.
You just look at him and then see him like do 1 or 2 fights and understand that like if it really comes down to it, nobody's beating him like in a tournament. So it's gonna be
No.
really interesting to see how if they overcome him somehow in the tournament, like how
And
that
he's
comes
gonna be
about.
very sketchy about everything he does.
Oh,
Like
for sure. He'll have to get
here,
himself disqualified or something.
here's the line right here. He's gonna go through that line. He kind of just tickle it a little bit.
It's crazy. Yeah, as soon as you showed up on screen, you were like, okay, yeah, that's the new
Yeah.
arc villain that they've got to go with. That's
Yep.
who's going to go up against in the championship. That's going to be them. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
we'll have to talk at the end about who we think's going to win the tournament.
Oh
Got to
yeah.
get some
We'll,
picks.
we'll bring you back too. Like for part 2, when part 2 drops and we watch part 2, we'll bring you back for that one as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to Rob, but he'll be back.
Yeah.
It drops out from time to time. StreamYard's a finicky creature. But let's jump into the Underdogs, episode 4, where Daniel and Johnny invite Barnes to come back and be a guest instructor to help them do an unbiased selection to determine the sits.
Yeah. It was cool because I do like what they did just with part, one. Honestly, when I was watching it, I didn't even realize it was being broken up into 3 different parts at the
Mhm.
time until after the fact. But I loved how much they decided to bring back kind of every character that played any role throughout the first like 5
Yep.
seasons and kind of give them their little tidbit. Let them come in and make an appearance in a way that makes sense. It wasn't just like forced or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you're looking for somebody, I mean, he was just with you in the huge fight at the end of the last season, so
Yep.
might as well bring him back and let
A-
him just kind of try to
And
make it easy.
I've always liked his character too. Yeah, he was a dick when he was like I think it was what,
Psycho.
part 3?
Yeah, or was it part? Yeah, no,
Part
2
3.
or 3. Okay, whichever one was
It's one
not
of the
in.
2.
Japan. Yeah,
So part 3 is 3 then.
yeah,
But he was a dick, but he played like you see this guy walking at the mall or something, you're like, God damn, that dude's a dick, man. Look at that guy. That guy just looks like a dick.
you don't want to buy furniture off of him? He seemed to be doing pretty well.
He did seem like he was doing pretty well for himself, making handmade furniture.
He's happy now. He's back to his roots.
Exactly, working with his hands, man.
Yeah,
And but
yeah.
I think he was a good pick to come in and pick the
Yeah,
sits.
it was a good sequence for sure. I liked it, and kind of like the different trials that he had to put him through. It made for entertaining TV to kind of watch them do the different competitions.
It did, and it was. He even told him like that was not necessarily those contests, but there would be different stages to the Seketake.
Yeah,
All right, there
Sorry
he
about
is. He's
that.
back. Yeah, it's all good. I was telling him like StreamYard's a finicky beast, and it does weird things sometimes. Unless you're hotel living and your hotel Wi-Fi is sucking.
It is. I am, and it.
And I thought the door behind you looked like a base hotel door.
you don't always have like a fire escape route on your door.
Right there.
That's good. You have any thoughts on Barnes? We
Yeah.
were just talking
Yeah,
about
Oh
we're in
Jesus.
we jumped over to episode 4 and how Daniel and Johnny invite Barnes back to help them pick the sits in an unbiased way.
I think the way that Barnes did that was pretty much emblematic of the bad boy of karate.
Yep.
And then
That's why we
he's been itching to get back to some level of control and badassdom, and that was just it. That was perfect for him.
yeah. And we were just saying, like the guy who plays Barnes, man, like if you see him at a mall or something, you're immediately like, God, that dude looks like a dick, man. Just like everything about him just says the dude's a dick, but he makes really great furniture.
Shut up! I'm control.
The fight that we did get though with Johnny and him while he's at the wood shop,
Oh, that was
almost like
Yes.
sawed their faces off, like, and then just kind of said it's cool. You
did had a
win. Like,
beer.
it was the weirdest like stop to a fight I've ever seen.
It was either that or you were gonna, be wearing a saw blade.
Somebody's
Yeah,
gonna die.
I kept waiting for somebody to lose a hand or some shit.
Yeah, that was rough.
Which would be like the most Johnny Lawrence thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Badass. I got a hook.
He probably put like an eagle head or something. I don't
man.
know.
There's
But
still time.
that fight scene
Exactly.
was hilarious, and it amped up so much anxiety over that saw blade, and then of course nothing happens, and they're both kind of beat up about it. But yeah, I can see them bringing them back just for just to do that, because
Mhm.
none of the other ones, Daniel was right.
Yep.
So Johnny was going to choose more Eagle Fang people, and
Mhm.
Chosen was going to go this way. He was going to go that way. So
Yeah. There's no way to
and
be unbiased.
and he was actually, if towards the end of it, when he finally picked, you could see he was actually a lot unbiased, and he was seeing more things than what we were seeing on the
Yep.
So yeah.
It was great, man. That I don't know who choreographed that fight, specifically between Johnny and Barnes, but it was shot so perfect. And then with the sawdust and everything, I'm surprised nobody went all Hank Hill with the pocket dust. You know,
They were
pocket
trying
dirt.
to figure out who was the legitimate bad boy. I still want to know who won the fight between Johnny and Chosen.
True. They should have had them come in the next episode, like in bandages and like a
Yeah.
cast or something.
Hell yeah.
I'm
So-
assuming they kept it civil.
Oh, I'm sure. And I think after Johnny seen Chosen break that board, he wasn't really. And no, actually, I'll take that back. Johnny did want the smoke. Who am I kidding?
Oh yeah.
Johnny always wanted the smoke. So we get the first round of voting, and we get down to the final, like the 12. We get Hawk, Robbie, Miguel, Sam, Tori, Mitch, Kenny, Nate, Chris, Dimitri, Devin, and Anthony are chosen for the second round after the I guess we can call it capture the flag. I guess.
Yeah.
Like full
Captured
contact.
a lot of flags.
Yeah.
They do it again in the woods.
Full contact capture the flag
Yeah.
with karate. So we get that. And dude, I personally like seeing that, because this is the one where Anthony got busted in the mouth
Oh,
by
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Kenny. I think
Yeah,
Kenny's the
by
one
Kenny.
that busted him in the mouth or in
Yeah.
the nose. Yeah. I was like, oh, that whiny little bitch deserved it.
You were Barnes in that moment. Barnes was like, "Good job, Kenny." He's like, "My son's
Good job,
bleeding over
Kenny."
here."
Yeah.
Yeah,
The killer instinct.
yeah. That's what it's gonna take, man, if you want to compete at this place.
Actually,
Yeah.
no, that because I think it was the top 12 went. That's when we did the capture the
Got into
flag
the flag,
tournament.
yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
then it was like a 4-way tie between Tori, Robbie, Sam, and Miguel. Because those were the first 4 that advanced.
Yep.
And then the next day, Hawk, Dimitri, Devin, and Kenny compete for the last 2 positions. And
Yeah.
it gets very interesting in that full contact race through the woods to capture the flag.
Yeah.
And
culmination.
The one Kenny had to retreat from
Kenny did retreat. Kenny
and didn't make it.
Yeah.
yeah, he made it about, I guess, about 50 yards into the woods before he got the rumbles in the
Super
jungle
colon blow.
and had to turn around, and he still didn't make it in time.
Stupid kid that was still taking his time in the
I
porta
know.
john.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing in there? It's like 90 fucking degrees. Get in and get out.
Not even in the competition, man.
Exactly. You're
Yeah.
not even your character doesn't even have a name.
Yeah.
Now you're toilet boy.
Yeah.
Oh, but anyways, Devin gets the first flag. Kenny earns his brown belt.
Oof.
Dimitri super kicks the shit out of Hawk after he tells him he doesn't want to go to MIT. And then Kenny accuses Anthony, little LaRusso, of spiking his water.
Yep.
But then we learned that Devin, the quite demure, I've been seeing that word go around a lot, demure Asian girl.
Well,
And
Devin has been. You remember, Devin was full on Cobra Kai as
Yep.
well,
And
So
Eagle Fang.
and Eagle Fang. So she was. This isn't so much out of character for her. Just she's like, I can't compete without having that edge,
Mhm.
and so she
She did what she
no
had
mercy.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Felt like she
Old Boy
wasn't
kept
getting her
saying
fish pick. Yeah.
correct.
And the
She
bad part
did.
about all this is Johnny knew. He sees at the end that she's the one that spiked the water.
Did
Did
he?
he? I don't think
Yeah.
I noticed that. If you did, I know she
Yeah.
kind of tried to hide it and like threw it, away, but
Yeah, I gotta see that. I gotta
I'm
see that
pretty sure
again.
that he kind of knew that she did something. Because he's rooting for Devin. Like, he's Devin's
definitely
number
rooting
one
for
fan.
her.
yeah, I mean, and she felt like she had to do it, or she wasn't going to get, like we were talking about, the fair shake to even, get seen to get in it.
Yeah.
So she was trying to do whatever she could to secure her spot and represent. But yeah, definitely a really shitty way to go about it. Pun intended in that regard.
Oh,
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if I don't know if Johnny saw it or not. We'll have to go back and rewatch
yeah.
that
I
piece.
definitely have to go back
I
and
would like
rewatch
to
it.
think that his character developed enough to where he would be like, okay, we have to tell the truth. We got to come clean on this.
Yeah, we got to say something
No.
about this.
Johnny will be Johnny until the very end.
But you think he'd high five her for that?
Yeah, without a doubt. So let's roll in. Let's do episode 5 because I mean, really, that's all they gave us is 5 episodes. But I know the director said going into this, their plan was to do a 15 episode season split into 3 parts. And that's what they gave us, and that's cool. I'm not mad. I'm actually quite happy with the way they're doing it because it does give me something to look forward to in the fall winter time frame. Even though there's a lot of great shit coming out on TV here soon.
Oh, so much good stuff. But
oh, dude,
my
so
question would
much.
be, I mean, we can talk, but like obviously part 2 is going to be probably the tournament. I would imagine maybe the
Yes.
whole time. They could literally take all 5 episodes and just do like rounds of the tournament. And I hope
Yeah.
that's what they do because I
I
just
think
want
that's what they'll
nonstop
do.
action. So it's just interesting that they have another 5 episodes on the other side of that. Like, do you
I
need
think we
5
get the
episodes to kind of
blowout.
wrap things up or what?
Yeah,
But
I think we're going
it's
to
the
get the
aftermath.
blowout. We'll get a blowout, and then I think we'll get kind of like the lead into what is about to come from the movie. I think,
Okay.
yeah,
Right.
that's just me speculating, and I'm a speculator and a shit talker, but that's neither here nor there. So we get Miyagi-Do now with the hard choice of how do we pick our captains out of these 6 fine juvenile delinquents that we have on our hands. And their best thing is, fuck it, let them fight.
They let them fight.
Let them throw hands. We take the top 4 and we let them throw hands. And that's what we get. Miguel versus Robbie and Tori versus Sam, which is kind of like right back to where we started.
But then Tori was going through all this shit with her mom.
Yep.
Nobody knew.
Sam's mom did pass away, for those who didn't know. I like to think people had plenty of time to watch this. So if you're hearing it for the first time, my bad. Tori's mom died. Tragically, I add.
Yes. Yeah. What happened to her mom and how she had to deal with it. That's no laughing matter. That was traumatic, and I felt bad for her in that instance.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting, like the kind of the contrast of as soon as LaRusso finds out about it, he's trying to stop the fight because he's like she's not emotionally prepared to have this, and Johnny's on the opposite, and he's like no, you gotta let her work through this.
Yeah,
shit. Like,
let her
this is
work
the
through
best
it.
thing for her. So yeah, they kind of come.
I mean,
to
neither
head with
one
that.
of them were wrong in this situation.
Yeah.
It's like, but at the same time, you have to look at what's best for Tori, and what was really best for Tori is knocking it the fuck off. Just like, at least that's what they decided was like, no, this has to stop. She needs to talk to people, and she needs to get the help that she needs.
I think Johnny was right in this instance. I think letting her out there because she, was she going? Yeah, but she was working through that shit during the fight. That's what she needed. She needed to get out to get some action. She didn't need to be babied, coddled. And when they didn't let her, that to her and Devin proved they were going to do, in their eyes, they were going to do whatever they needed to do to let Sam win it.
Yeah.
And prompted her decision to leave.
And you could almost say too, LaRusso might have even been a little bit concerned that she was not in the right headspace and might hurt his daughter. I guess.
Yeah, she did. Yeah,
she would. She would have definitely.
So I get why
Sam's
he would
ass.
want to stop it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, at this point, they're like, she had put Sam in the hospital twice now, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like showing flashes, like she's like kind of not seeing what's right in front of her. She's like fighting, obviously everything that's wrong. In her life
she's fighting for her life, dude. She really was.
You don't want to be the opponent in that situation.
And this is after Robbie had just like beat Miguel.
Yeah,
for the first time. I add.
it's good for Robbie. He needed to win.
Robbie
He
needed a
did.
dub, and he got his dub. You know what I'm saying? Little
He
Johnny
did.
Lawrence got a dub.
Yeah, it's just gonna be interesting to see, like, now that we know who's going to the tournament, how they're gonna have it all play out, and who's gonna be coming out on top.
Who replaced Tori? I can't remember.
Hawk.
Hawk. That's
Yeah,
right.
which
Hawk.
they needed to in somehow, because he was obviously one of their better fighters, and they were already kind of like, we don't even have our best fighters going to this thing because Hawk got eliminated. So they're
Yeah.
like, how do we get him
And then
back in this?
Yeah, and the guy that actually beat Hawk had no business being there.
Right.
You know what? Me and my son Gerard G2. What up? We actually had a discussion about that.
Really? Share.
Yes.
Enlighten
Oh,
us.
he was like, I think he called Dimitri everything but a child of God. Uh, he was like that.
Wow.
He that emotional little punk. He's let his feelings. Oh, my friend didn't want to go there, and he goes, I don't see why he didn't just grow the fuck up and be happy for Hawk.
Yeah.
I said, first of all, the way that Hawk handled that was pretty bad. That's been
Let's be
their
honest.
dream since they were, kids,
Yeah.
running around going to MIT, and Hawk should have let them know way before then and how it came up. I said, so it's more of a I thought we were friends,
Yeah.
type deal. And I already sent my stuff off thinking my road dog was coming, and this is how I had to find out. And he goes, but he should have never beat Hawk. I said, Hawk let his guard down, and Dimitri fucking flashed in.
Fucking
Yeah, he took
Crane
it.
kicked his ass.
He took the cheap shot, and Hawk was sitting there going. I said half of that was Hawk being surprised he got kicked. I said the other half of that was Hawk going, shit, did I really fuck up? And that gave
Mhm.
Dimitri the chance to run away with the flag and come down with it.
You asked
Yeah.
Hawk when it was that he knew he fucked up when he was staring back up at Dimitri.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, none of these kids handle their issues or do the mature thing, typically.
I mean,
No.
they're kids.
Yeah,
They're
I mean,
kids. So I give them a little bit of grace and all this stuff,
Dude,
but
this shit's a prequel to Prozac Nation.
to say that for my son and other people to say that Dimitri didn't deserve to be there,
He
Dimitri
earned
has
it,
caused
dude.
not just from that one. If you look at the evolution of both Hawk and Dimitri, they are two sides of the same coin.
Yep.
Dimitri all offense. I mean Hawk all offense. Dimitri more defense.
Mhm.
But Dimitri has won some great fights
He really has.
and come out. That fight at the college showed where he was fighting against two different opponents at once, and working them.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't say that he didn't deserve to be there. I think Hawk is the better fighter, but I think that
Dimitri is the
yeah.
smarter of the two when it comes to. He's not going to let himself get into a situation where he could come out on a losing end. You know what I'm saying?
Well, also his girl did say, I don't like this guy. I don't like a guy who's like, well, she said, I want the guy who was like, "Arr!" And so he was like, yep, that's gonna be me. And that
Yeah.
was him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is
that
right.
was all the motivation that he needed for sure. It's probably ultimately going to get him kicked in the face, and it's not
I
going to be
think
good
it
for him.
will. I think it will.
Yeah.
I
He
think
should
we're
be there
going to
like,
see.
pick him up.
Hey, y'all remember the old movie, The Best of the Best?
Yes.
I think that's exactly what we're going to see, and we're going to see what Dimitri sitting there going, "What are you counting them for?" Of course, I lost, and this guy won.
The Best of the Best was one of those where when they came out with part 2, and then part 2 is surprisingly better than part 1.
No, it wasn't.
I thought
Don't
it
you do that.
was. I
Oh
thought
no,
it
don't you
was.
do that.
I'm
No,
gonna have to
don't you do
rewatch
that.
it, but I could have swore that was one of those where the second one was better.
Oh no, don't you do
But
that.
I Scout's Honor, I'll go back and rewatch them just to be sure on that one.
Oh my god. Part
But
2
hey,
sucked.
neither here nor there for now. But I will go back and
Yes,
rewatch.
you're right.
Also, when Tori leaves, Johnny and Daniel agree to never speak with each other again after the tournament.
After the tournament, yep.
So I mean, definitely two different thinkings on that, and them finally going, you know what? It's time for us to fucking like we done after this. I really can't see these two completely being done with each other ever.
They probably already said that like how many times during the show.
Oh,
at
at least
some
once a
point.
Yeah.
season. Once a season
I
at
think
least.
I think Daniel's wife is going to clip that in the bud. She's going to be like, "Look, everything that he's doing for us at the, he's selling cars, he's doing this. It's
Well,
clearly
he got
good for
fired.
him."
I'm not sure that that's like the selling point for him. I'm sure she doesn't want him
Yeah.
working there, but yeah, I mean, all their kids are friends and stuff at this point too. Like
Yeah.
she is definitely the most reasonable of everyone.
She really is. And I think she's been like the ground for both of them.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
Miguel's mom, I can't remember her name, but she
Yeah.
like those two ladies, God bless them, man. They're fucking saints in my eyes.
For
Because
the
those
most part, they're
two,
living outside of the crazy karate. Like everybody's
yeah,
fighting on the streets.
Yeah.
I forget. I think I wanted to make the joke in the review and I forgot, but it's like I feel like all of this show is like a setup to be like the Warriors because it's just all these like little feuding karate gangs or like fighters.
yes,
And just at some
I
point,
like it. I like
at
it.
some point, like the cops are just gonna be like, "What the hell, man?" and just start trying to arrest everybody that does any form of karate, like just to
Dude,
save
that's
the
what I keep
city.
saying. I'm like, we got two karate instructors trying to turn these juvenile delinquents into something, man.
Yeah.
But so we get past that, and Sam and Robbie receive their captain headbands, and then that's when LaRusso kind of puts the two and two together and realize that Mr. Miyagi was also a captain and fought in the Seketeke or Sakitaki.
Sakai Taka, I think.
And
I don't think Taki works.
dude, I'm never gonna say that word right. I've tried, but it's also it finding Mr. Miyagi's bloody is kind of like what led him down this long, weird path of questioning his beliefs again.
Well,
But
it also lets him know how real this thing is.
yes,
His headband, his captain's band is bloody, which means
it
this thing
rings
is more.
home Barnes's a point of like people have died in this tournament.
Yep.
I like how excited he was, like trying to get like his son and daughter to be in this tournament too. Like, you really
Yeah.
want your little son to be? He's not gonna last in this thing. Like, what are you trying
Yeah,
to do?
this dude's
he would have
done.
been done.
Round
Yeah.
one, done.
Lucky it was only his daughter that got in, but yeah, I mean, he's
At
probably
least Sam
thinking
can
too,
hold
like,
her
what am I
own.
doing?
Sam
Yeah.
can hold her own. I mean, and she's proved that time and time again because she's taken some ass whoopings in Warren.
I think Sam's gonna lose it against the Koreans.
Dude, Tori is going to tear her a new asshole. And
we haven't seen all the different teams. I'm hoping we're gonna get another team that's gonna be like, holy shit, where did these kids come from?
I know they were teasing that it's not going to be either. It could be neither one of these teams that win. Not Cobra Kai, not Miyagi-Do. It could be a completely separate team that comes in and just whoops all their asses. So
My money
the
would be on
directors have
Quan,
been. Oh yeah, dude, my money's all on Quan. That kid's a beast.
Quan
With
is a beast.
zero conscience and zero fucks. I don't know what his parents did to him, but goddamn, that kid was ruthless. He whooped two dudes' asses and didn't even hesitate. At the
Just
same
made it
time,
worse too. Yeah.
yeah, and then they
Puffing
tried
his
to
cigar over
instigate
there.
him, and of course, that's what Kreese does, man. He smokes his cigar and instigates shit between teenagers.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I am forgetting one other little Easter egg that they slipped in during this first part.
Which one?
When someone was talking and they brought up to Johnny, they brought up Johnny's old teammate.
Oh yeah, yeah. And he was all about when they were trying to do the real estate thing, and he was like, "I saw
Oh
like
yeah,
your friend or whatever." It's like, "Yeah, he's in jail
Yeah,
or
he's
whatever.
in
Like, he's in
jail.
prison
Yeah,
now."
yeah,
yeah, he's in
Yeah,
prison. He's in jail. He ain't coming back.
it's like
And I
classic.
was
Yeah,
like, yeah, Dutch.
dude,
It was like,
that
yeah, Dutch was
was
so
Dutch. Yeah,
bad.
that was
yeah.
an awesome like little 10-minute spiel. I forgot what episode it was with Chosen and Johnny like shopping for houses, man.
Just real estate
Like
market.
of all this seriousness, we had that 10 minutes of just Johnny and Chosen like a gay couple shopping for a house.
And then they're probably there. Is like, I mean, anybody could afford this house with a good credit score. Like, you have a good credit score. It's like, can't imagine
Nope.
that it is. It's like, do you have any money to put down? Like, no, I don't have an income really. Then yeah, that's what sparked him to
But
try
just
to get a
imagine that
job. But
killer van right there.
yeah. It's like, so you
And
living alone? It was like, no, I got like 10 people I'm bringing
that
in
was the
this
funny
place.
part. That was real funny because
Yeah.
Jones sitting over there trying to do what's right, and Johnny's
Yeah.
just like, nope.
Digging a hole.
So I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna take it. It's like, no, that's not how this works.
But when he
Oh
mentioned
man.
Dutch, I was like, all right. And the fact that Dutch is, he left. The guy who plays Dutch is Steve McQueen's son,
Hmm.
Yep.
and he left the acting world to become a race car driver, and has said multiple times, "I'll never go back."
Yep.
Yeah, I know they had. I forget what season it was where they brought back all of like Johnny's friends for like an episode.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a really good one. But
Is that
what's
3?
maybe it
I think
was.
that was season 3.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people showed up in season
But
3.
literally almost everybody that ever had a
Yeah.
line in the movies, like at
Yeah,
some
because
point, is
I
like
think
pop back.
even in season 3 is when toward the end of season 3 is when I think Silver made his return back as well.
Mm.
It
Yeah,
it might have been.
Or
Yeah,
early
at the
season
end of
4.
season 3.
Yeah.
They
But
did the dun 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 dun.
yep.
yeah.
You get that crazy entry that Silver always gets. Like the dude can make an entrance. I'm not going to take that away from him.
Oh
But
yeah.
speaking of making an entrance, the kids arrive in Barcelona, Spain, and they're all lining up around the tournament mat. And lo and behold, the South Korean Cobra Kai team shows up, led by none other than Quan and Tori. Dun dun dun. Like the fucking drama between these kids, man. I swear. Get your if your feelings hurt and you run back to the bad guys once again. He'll
Yeah.
be back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird that that's what they set up. I would have thought that she would have worked things out rather than the run back to Kreese, who's obviously like left her high and dry before and is not going to have like her. I
Well,
don't know.
you have to excuse me. You have to keep in mind that Kreese at one point was paying for her mom's medical
Yeah.
bills.
Yeah.
So I mean,
they
to
showed like a
her,
softer side of Kreese, throughout the seasons, and like that he
yeah,
has, a heart and all of his
Tori,
backstory. But
Tori is kind of like his new Johnny. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. But then is he going to have to fight another snake to figure out that she's his weakness? I don't know. Like we gotta.
In a country that has no venomous
Yeah,
snakes.
yeah. Go to like Rhode Island or whatever it is, a state in North Carolina, a state in the United States without snakes. We'll see. We'll see where they take it. But yeah, the tournament, I do hope that the whole part 2 is like just taking place there. I just want it to be like a giant blood
Yeah.
sport, like
Dude.
miniseries.
That is all I'm hoping for at this point is that the 5 episodes in part 2 is like the tournament and them maybe licking their wounds on a plane on the way back to California.
Yeah, they'll have like time in between like rounds or whatever, like, and then the day ends or something, and then they go back to their village or whatever they're kind of staying at there, and kind of talk things out and speak about what's going on. And I'm sure there'll be time for more teenage drama and whatnot in between. But
there's going to be a lot.
Tournament's going to take a while, so
I know the
I hope it
directors
drags.
and producers and everybody they're really kind of hyping this thing up and how they're doing it and everything. So I'm not mad. I've actually enjoyed it. I thought it was something different, and now I'm seeing other shows from Netflix are jumping on this same kind of bandwagon of like, we're gonna give you 15 episodes, but we're gonna split it. You know what I'm saying?
That's kind
Which
of
is cool.
I think it's the best way to do it because a lot of times, for example, the boys, they kind of drag it, so they give you like a couple episodes at a time without releasing everything, right? They don't give you everything up front, so you have to
They'll
kind of
give you like 2 episodes up front,
two,
and
and then you got to
then
come back. So sometimes if I'm in like a binge mood, I'll get through like all of the show. Like you could have binged all of Cobra Kai like in a day, or something. If you're having to tune back in like weekly, other stuff gets in the way. You get distracted by like another
yeah,
show in between, and so sometimes you don't have the same attention span or like focus, and you forget what's going on.
yeah.
That happens to me all the time with some shows. So it is nice to kind of get it all in
Hey,
like 5 bingeable eps, and then
I'm
come back to
struggling
it.
through it right now. Like, I want to start House of the Dragon, but in my head, I can't do that until I finish Game of Thrones. However,
It's an investment.
season 6 through 8 are so horrible. It's hard for me to press through. So what I've been having to do is like watch an episode or 2 episodes at a time, and then I'm like, all right, I can't do no more of this horrible season. Let me go watch the Arrow. So I've been watching
Yeah.
the Arrow in between, which of course, there's parts of the Arrow where you're just like, fuck, get the story going. We know where it's going. I've read the comic book. You're killing me, Smalls.
Well, I mean, there's some shows where you have years in between seasons, like literally 2, 3 years before they come back
Yeah.
with the next one. That kind
Or
of
they
stuff's crazy.
cancel it and then bring it back.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But yeah, so I mean, at least it builds like excitement for like part 2 to come, and then you'll have, you'll wait like through the Christmas and everything, and kind of come back into it, I guess, the next year in
Well,
2025.
I
So
think we get the second part like just before the
I think it's
holiday break.
I think it's in November or something. I
Yeah,
think is when it's supposed to
November.
drop,
And
and then
then,
2025 we have the next part. So
yep,
it's
early 2025, like January or February, I think.
yeah, I think that's right. But I mean,
But
hey, you brought news to me today because I didn't know that they were spinning this into a movie and kind of
yeah,
extending this whole thing
so
even further.
I forgot it at what part. It was just before they released, or around the same time they released the first part of this. They were like rumors starting to pop up, and then finally, fuck, I want to say his name, but I don't want to say his wrong name. Ralph Macchio was like, "Oh, by the way, me and the directors are working on a movie script," and I'm like, "Cool." Another, Karate Kid movie. I'm like, but if you're going to do that this time, I need you to at least say Stay Golden Pony Boy in this
just
movie.
just bring up any line that he has from any movie he's been in.
No,
Yeah,
just that one. Just that
just
one.
that one.
Yeah.
I mean, it is funny that that's happening though, because if you remember, like the beginning of the season, he already is telling his wife, like, "Hey, once this tournament's done, like that's it for like full time karate. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna be
Like
out
he
of
wants
it."
to just like say, okay, Johnny, here, it's yours. You teach the Miyagi Do
Yeah.
Eagle Fang way.
Well, that's gonna be
But
tough now that they're not talking. So,
yeah, I got a feeling something's going to happen, and it's just not, they're not going to get off that easily.
no. They'll be
The
friends by the end of
ladies,
this.
yeah, the ladies are going to come back and be like, look, boys, yeah, got to figure this shit out. So, but Ben, I don't want to keep you any longer than I need to. I'm waiting on Rob, so I'm kind of buying for time for Rob to
No,
get
you're
back, so
totally good, man.
we can jump into the next part of our juvenile delinquent series and what happens when juvenile delinquents grow up to be superheroes and man children. But while we're waiting for him, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you and what exactly it is you do over at the Pop Break?
Yeah, so you can find me social media, just Instagram and X. It's at BD Murkison, so BD Murkison, and you can also follow my dog, which is Star Wars themed name. It's TK42 Woof. So you can follow his account on Instagram. He's much
Yep,
more
I'm gonna
adorable,
follow him.
than I am. And yeah, so for Pop Break, it's been great. Like that whole family. Bill brought me in, several years ago, and I've been doing as much writing for them as I can. Trying to pop out some reviews like I did for Cobra Kai, which is where
Yep.
you found me for this one.
Yep.
And then they had me on socially distanced occasionally as well too. So I love coming on there and doing some pods. But Yeah, you can find me there trying to write. I'm actually going to start reviewing. Oh, look, we're getting Gibbs back. But Bad Monkey is on Apple right now with Vince Vaughn, so I'm 2 episodes into
Yeah,
that, and that's
so
gonna be my next review.
I've heard great things about it so far.
Yeah, it's
I
entertaining.
gotta,
I'm into it.
I'm gonna have to check that one out.
But I'll have to finish. I'll have to finish the boys so I can participate in your future discussions. But
Yeah, we'll bring you back when we do season 5,
there you go.
and
Yeah.
we're definitely gonna bring you back when we discuss part 2 of Cobra Kai because we loved having you, Ben. We appreciate you coming on. Hopefully,
I
everybody wrote
apologize
down.
with my internet. My internet's going in and out.
Hey,
You're all
you're good,
good.
man. We're
You're
about
gonna leave him
to.
talking to himself if you drop after I'm gone. So we can stick around.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna lie to you, Ben. I'm kind of just like carrying on until I can get Gibbs back in, so we can roll into the second half of this. So now that Gibbs is back, and I can jump into our second half of our discussion of juvenile delinquents. Ben, appreciate you coming on, man. Like I
Yeah,
said,
man.
we'll have you back on for part 2, and look forward to see what else you do with the pop brick, man.
Sounds good. Thank you guys. Enjoyed it.
Hey,
You have a good one.
appreciate you, Ben. Have a good one.
Nice
All
to meet
right,
you, bro.
now
Take it easy.
take it easy.
All right, everybody. That was Ben that I borrowed from the pop break tonight to talk about Cobra Kai and juvenile delinquents. All right, Gibbs. Now let's get fucking as violent as we humanly can. And
Let's
that's what
do this.
season 4 of The Boys brought. Was
They
like
brought a lot of violence, a lot of
the most over the top violent season to date. And goddamn was it great.
oh my god. At a certain point, I'm like, oh Jesus, can it get worse? Yeah, yes,
Yes, it
did.
can. And it
Yes,
did.
it can, and it did. What the fuck?
All right, so like I'm a comic book guy. I know you're a comic book guy as well. So let's start it with this. So The Boys is based off a comic book written by none other than Garth Ennis. And if the name sounds familiar, it should, because he did Preacher,
Yep.
Hellblazer. He had a run of
Yep.
Hellblazer, aka John Constantine. That's why you can't just go into a comic book store and go, "Hey, I'm looking for John Constantine." You're not gonna find it that way. You got to find it for Hellblazer.
Yeah.
Punisher, his Punisher run, fucking amazing. But those are my 3 favorites from him. And then we also he created it with Derek Robertson, and it was developed for TV by Eric Kripke, which hopefully everybody knows who Eric Kripke is at this point. The dude literally did Supernatural, Gen V, and the Winchesters.
Yeah.
So we're talking like Garth Ennis to me is like on my Legends board. His face is right there. So,
I got you. I got you.
But now that that's out the way, we explained what it is. I'm going to ask you a question.
Go right ahead.
Do you think the creative liberties taken by Eric Kripke with some of the characters from the comic book affected the overall season or series, rather, i.e., gender swapping certain characters and that kind of stuff? Do you think it?
Yes. I'm. Let's be 100% real here. A lot of the stuff and the liberties and the changes that they made, um, they were done because I'm not sure whether or not people would have, like, casuals. Okay, like, you know, those who read the comics and love the comics and was like
No.
into the comics. First off, I'm gonna say this as disrespectfully as I can. Y'all some sick bastards, because that comic book was
It
fucked up.
is, bro.
It is, but I don't think that the casuals would have gotten into a lot of different things that was in the original.
Yeah.
You know, in the comics, because, you know, with Starlight first joining, you know, they all did her dirty, not just the Deep, but they needed to, you know, to keep some of them a little bit above the board, but so they've made some changes, and I think that it's affected it so that it was more palpable, palpable,
Palatable. Yeah.
palatable. Yes,
Yeah. Close enough.
for
We're in the ballpark.
mass consumption.
Yes.
Because in the comics, how they did Starlight, there was no redeeming factors for any of them.
None.
Any of them. Not even Queen, because Queen Maeve was right there when it happened.
Oh yeah.
She did nothing to stop it.
Not a
So
damn thing.
so you have those things that was like, what the fuck, and you have to go, what the fuck, but even still, we're getting that. But yeah, most definitely, it's changed some stuff.
Yeah.
It's made it easier to watch,
Yeah.
which is saying a lot, because I know a lot of people who watched the first season was like, nah, I can't
Never.
do it.
Yeah. Dude. And I always tell people I'm like, if you think what you see in the TV show is bad, don't
Yeah,
go read the comic,
no.
because the TV show's at a level 8. The comic book, they got it cranked.
Compared to the comic book, the TV series is a level 5, maybe 6.
I'm being generous with my 8 on that one, because the TV series
Yes,
is still on a whole nother level that you're not used to.
it is. It is, and we've seen some stuff on there that, especially with this season, a lot of the stuff that's going on has left the comic book realm. You
Yes.
know, but definitely this was a good season.
Mm-hmm.
It's bringing together a lot of, they're starting to close off storylines.
Yes, and we know it's coming. Like, we know season 5's it. We're done.
Right.
And I'm hoping they kind of end it the same way the comic book does, because I think that's like the best ending possible. But I
Right.
don't know if we'll get that. But let's go with this. So we have, of the characters in the show, just the show, what has been your favorite, like, so far
Jesus, you
for
trying
this
to put me
season?
in
For
for the
this season,
season or the
yes.
show?
No, we're only going to focus on season 4.
Um, what's her name? Sister.
Oh shit, Sister
Oh,
Sage,
Sister Sage. Yes.
Susan Hayward, who plays Sister Sage.
Yep. She would have to be my hands down favorite for this season.
Okay, for this season,
Listen,
for me, I'm going to go Laz Alonso's Mother's Milk. And it's an
uh,
odd choice, but I kind of feel like this season gave him his flowers the way they should have been all along.
no. Because if they given one, two things preclude me from having Mother's Milk be the top dude for this season. One is, he's by this time in the comic book, he's fought and beat the shit out of Billy Butcher
Multiple times.
multiple times. And there's a reason why that is, because in this, we don't really, people don't really understand why he's called Mother's Milk,
No,
which
and
is,
it's flipped in the TV series, because in the comic book, it was his mother who was infected with compound V, and when he was born, it caused him he needed his mother's milk to actually survive, even as an adult.
he was sucking on them alien tentacle porn teats as they were, not just to survive, but that's how he got his superpowers. That's why he
Yes.
was able to hang with Soups. In
Yep.
this, he's a regular guy. In
Yep.
that, he was, in the comics, he was a Soup himself, but that's how Butcher finally got up on him. Is he went down into Mother Milk's basement, and there was his bloated mom with the teats going
Yep.
everywhere, and he was like, shoot, that's why it was called Mother's Milk.
Yep.
The second part is, dude, I don't care how cool you are. I don't care how badass you were this season or the last season, how you stepped up finally to be the team leader. When you get knocked out by a dude's dick slapping you up against the head, and this ain't the first time it's
Oh
happened. It's a
no!
reoccurring theme with him
In the
getting
TV
choked by
show.
this
In the TV show.
In the TV show. It's a recurring theme that he gets smacked up by this dude's dick almost every season. Yeah,
So
that takes you out of the contention in the running.
okay, now I will buy into that. But so funny story. I actually have a note in here about his name is Love Sausage, by the way, in case
Love sausage.
in the TV show he only makes special appearances such as Hero-gasm and that kind of stuff. But on in the comic book, he's actually an ally of the
Yes.
boys.
Yes.
And yeah, he can literally, just like I think it was 2 Chainz said, throw it over his shoulder.
And not just throw it over his shoulder. He can dodge traffic from, the 12th floor of an apartment building.
All right, that's enough on Love Sausage until later. Stand by for more. So Mother's Milk, really Kimiko and Frenchie gets his comeuppance, but he also gets his ass whipping that he's well deserved for quite a while. But those to me are kind of like my 3 people who kind of like their characters are finally submitting into the TV series, even though they had been submitted long before in the comic book.
I would go Sister Sage, simply because, and some people have a heartache about her saying, "Well, this is how I knew it was going to end, and it had to end. You're welcome." And I was sitting up here going, "Yo, this chick is so smart. She predicted. She knew how this shit was going to fall to this extent." That he was going to do what he absolutely did, and she predicted, and this is where she wanted him to be. And then she said, he goes, "Why are you doing this?" To see if I can.
Yeah.
To see if I could.
Like
that
they
to
literally
me,
they asked her why she hadn't cured cancer, and her answer, "'Cause they won't let me."
Yep.
Because it's all a political game.
She is everything that her character is supposed to be, and just like A Train said, "Oh, she was with me in teenage kid." She's an asshole. Yeah, she's just blunt, and like she told Homelander, your ego is not going to allow you to take what I say how I say it. She said, "Because I'm not going to beat around the bush." And he's like, "Yeah, Will." She saw them all coming from a mile away, and she played them all.
Yep, everybody.
So to me, heads off. And then Kamiko next.
Okay.
Because I'm sorry, Kamiko is just,
Kimiko is Kimiko, man.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. And then last but not least, I would say Frenchie.
Dude, Frenchie's character in this season surpassed what I expected them to actually do. And when you start seeing a little bit more of the comic book Frenchie coming into it, I was like, oh, dude, it's about damn time, because Frenchie is like a deep ass dude in the comic book.
Yeah.
Not the deep as in Chase Crawford's the deep, but he's a fantastic character.
Yeah. He's got some depth to him, and he's definitely got some gravitas, and them finally having their moment and
Yeah,
being together.
we'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there.
But yeah, so I want to touch on. So Anthony Starr, I love the dude. He plays Homelander.
Yeah.
Homelander was created with the DNA of Soldier Boy.
Yep.
However, in the comics, the Soldier Boy that is portrayed is not what we get in the TV series by a mob. In the comic book, Homelander has his way in more ways than one with Soldier Boy.
Yes.
And Soldier Boy that we see, like, oh, I was in Vietnam. No, Soldier Boy pissed himself in Vietnam.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll leave it at that for that one. And so one of the gender swap characters that I was telling you about earlier and that we were discussing with like how you felt like, you know, with the creative liberties was Victoria Newman. In the comic book, it is Victor Newman. And honestly, I think they did a fantastic job with her character in the TV series, because otherwise there would have been some really awkward moments in the TV series if it was Victor Newman instead of Victoria Newman.
Well, they could have played it off like they always do. I think one of the main reasons why they gender swapped and flipped the name from Victor to Victoria was to separate this Victor Newman from the Victor Newman.
Yeah.
Who's a bad man in his own right. Not like Victor or Victoria, but yeah. But
it's one of the ones that they did, and I was like, at first I was like, I don't know. But then I was like, you know what? Eric Kripke did and the writers of The Boys did such a good job with Victoria Newman. I was like, I ain't even mad. Like what's her name? Claudia Cravetti is the actress who plays her. She just stand-up job.
Oh yeah.
So let's hit on some of the bigger changes, because I do want to fill into people because we've never talked about The Boys before, and this is probably what some of the stuff we're talking about. If we had covered it earlier, which means USDN would have had to have been around 4 years ago or 5 years ago, we just didn't do. So we're going to hit some stuff. So one of the biggest changes from the comic to the show was Black Noir. In the comic, he is a Homelander clone.
Yes.
And it was actually Black Noir who assaulted Billy Butcher's wife.
Yep.
And he's also the guy who committed the most heinous of crimes in the comic book. Like, they could have did a whole season of, SVU on Black Noir.
It was Black Noir all along instead of Agatha.
Exactly. Noir. And also he served under Soldier Boy in Vietnam.
Yep.
In the show, we see him killed at the end of was it end of season 3 or earlier in season 4? Where Homelander just reaches in and disembowels him.
I think it was into season 3.
Okay. I couldn't remember. I just remember like it just being absolutely like a brutal death.
Right.
And then they hire another soup actor to replace him in the TV show.
Right. Who turns out to have actual powers.
Yeah. And he doesn't know how to shut up.
Would you shut the fuck up? Yeah.
So I have another question here, because as I'm writing this, I was like, just questions I wanted to ask, get your thoughts on, and maybe even like people out there to kind of like to think about. So did Eric Kripke's creation of new superheroes take away from original comic characters, even if the created characters paid homage back to comic characters from The Boys, i.e. Ezekiel, Mesmer, who was played by Haley Joel Osment, by the way, and Translucent?
No, not at all.
I didn't. Yeah, I'm with you. I kind of
Not at
look.
all.
I kind of look as The Boys as a homage to itself to the actual comic book and what they did with the comic. I don't really look at it as a one for one. You know what I'm saying? Similar
Yeah.
to what they're doing with over on the other show on Netflix. Shit, can't think of it all of a sudden. But anyways, beside the point. Um, yeah, I'm brain farting. But
So the what Eric was going for and why it didn't matter is you have all the lore, the basic lore of it. And sure, you've got some characters that are new, that are created for the show, that are based on other characters, but really what he's doing is it doesn't make a difference because most of us were casuals of this, so
yep.
we didn't get it. There are those who are like, "Oh man, we were ripped off because this guy would have been better, and he's from the comics, and why didn't they put him in?" But
Mm-hmm.
of course, you didn't know that until you were already hooked and you
Yeah.
loved the episodes. You
And
know what I'm saying?
honestly, The Boys is like a cult following anyway. So like
It is.
mainstream, like
It
they
is.
they didn't like, oh, this is based on a comic book. Well, I'm like, and by the time The Boys come out, you couldn't get the comic book anyway.
Yep. Yep.
You're either reading the compendiums or nothing, unless you wanted
And
to spend a pretty dime.
you had to have been a fan of this type of comic book in itself because the boys wasn't mainstream Marvel or DC.
No, that was Image
And
Comics,
so
man.
yeah. So and even those that were image comic followers were like, you know, the
Yeah.
boys was really, really hardcore shit,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Even so, Image did The Walking Dead as well, and even the
Yes.
Walking Dead comic books are like, holy shit.
Yes. Yes. I've
So
always liked image for the grittiness.
that's why I will forever be a fan of Image, because that and Spawn. And I'm a big fan of Todd McFarlane, even though he's kind of a douche sometimes. But I was thinking about the Sandman earlier, because you can, when you watch the Sandman on Netflix, you
Yeah.
can pull out Compendium 1 of the Sandman and follow along with the actual comic book,
Yes.
which I have all the respect in the world for. But this one, I feel like they could take those creative liberties with it,
Oh
and
yeah,
it
most
doesn't
definitely.
it doesn't take it away from me, unless
Nope.
they fuck up the ending, and then I could be pissed.
What? Okay, let's go ahead and I'm gonna be the first to tell you the ending of the TV show is not gonna be like the ending in the comics at all.
I don't see any other. Well, I do see another way they could do it, but I I'm just such a huge fan of the comic book ending that I'm like, it messes with me to think they would do it a different way, I guess. Because that's the one thing I'm like, you can take all the creative liberties you want, but the ending's the ending in my head with this one. But then again, they may come up with something, and I'm like, you know what? God damn. All right, I stand corrected on this.
Let me ask you a question. Game of Thrones. Hold on a second. The
The
original series, Game of Thrones. What season was it that you said, "Okay, I'm this is too far gone"?
season 6, midway.
Season six,
The
midway.
everything about it after season midway through season 6, I was just like, this is hard to watch.
Okay, so how about this for shits and giggles? Anything after season, I think it was the
Season 5.
beginning of season five.
Yeah.
After season four, maybe season five, that was it. Which
I think
season was it where she was left there with her dragon?
5, I believe.
That was at the end of five.
I think so,
That was
yeah.
it. That was it. that the black wedding that never happened, and people were like, "Oh, season 5 is still great." No, season 5 sucked ass. It was long before
Yeah.
season 6, before disaster of 7 and the horrible ending of 8.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is nothing about that show after, basically midway through season 5, at the end of season 5, and
Yeah.
with elements throughout. Like I said, the Black Wedding happened fairly early in season 5. None of that other shit that went on was anything remotely about what was happening in the movie, in the books.
Yeah. No, I
So
know. Yeah.
so for when people say, okay, it's supposed to end, the way that it ended in the books or the comics, for me, I'm like, I'm still willing to let this shit cook. Let's let the
Yeah.
boys cook and let it go down the way it's supposed to go down. Because right now, Billy's got a whole nother motherfucker in his head.
Dude, he's got a whole goddamn parasite living inside of him.
What? Not just the parasite, but he's got that the you okay, I'm jumping ahead. All right, let's go. We can talk about that in a second.
Yeah, yeah. Um see, where was I? Okay. All right. This one is related to Gen V. I know we haven't talked about Gen V on the show, but did Gen V, so we got season 3, Gen V, then season 4 of The Boys. Do you think Gen V created a distraction from the main title with the creation of new characters and stories unrelated
No,
to the main? Okay.
no. What I do think, that because we don't actually see the Gen V, well, we see elements of Gen V throughout the last season, right? This
Mm-hmm.
season. We see elements of it, and we actually see a couple of guys from Gen V at the end.
Yep.
Basically, they're coming over and they're mixing. I think that Gen V in itself was supposed to be very much so standalone-ish.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be
But,
standalone because that's an original story.
well, no, it doesn't have to be standalone. You can mix an
No,
original story with it.
that's
The
I'm not saying standalone in like a standalone. What I'm saying is like it's Eric Kripke's creation. It's his
Right.
character, his story. It's standalone in the fact that it's unrelated to The Boys, even though it ties to The Boys because
Okay.
it's the same concept.
Well, it's the same universe, same,
Yeah, same universe. Same,
Homelander.
yeah,
Homelander goes there. I think that elements and events that happened with the cast of Gen V precipitated the need for them to be incorporated into um to the boys
yeah,
itself. We're
and
supposed to get a second season of Gen V. I
yep.
don't know if that is going to happen.
No, that one's happening. They've already said that is happening. They're just choosing not to recast.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the fella that died.
Yeah. Well,
Which
this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm saying that, is because, when you now are seeing people from Gen V in the boys, how
yeah.
they gonna go back to Gen V and make it fit? They can't. They're not.
Um, I I would leave it to Eric Kripke to figure out how they're going to do season 2. I got a feeling season 2 is going to roll. Like, and I mean this wholeheartedly. They're going to end Gen V season 2, and it's going to go flow straight into The Boys season 5. It has to. There's some stuff happening behind the scenes there in Gen V. That's why we're seeing them now in The Boys, mainly The Boys season finale for season 4. But I got a feeling they're going to tie it into there somewhere. They're going to interweave it.
Okay. I'll give leeway to see that happen.
Yeah, I'm going to live Livway because I really enjoyed the characters from Gen V. Mary Moreau, Kate Dunlap. I felt like were two of the stronger characters in there, and we see Kate in the season finale, and
Yep.
Mary Moreau hasn't. She's still locked up with the others.
Yes.
So, which leads me into Temp V. The use of Temp V in the TV series, do you think that takes away from the fact that in the comic book, the boys use super soldier serum that instead of compound V? Like that's what it was called in the comic book, was the super soldier serum compound V, versus
Yeah.
in the TV series, it's just Temp V.
Yeah.
And it
Well,
gives them like
one,
a short amount of like boost.
power. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one, I think that the name change is so that Marvel doesn't sue.
Yes.
And not just Marvel, but Disney.
Yes. You
There's a
do not
difference
want that
between you.
powerhouse.
There's a difference between you in Image in your comic book saying it's the
Yep.
super soldier serum, and Marvel going,
It's the what?
we're gonna let you get away with it. But now they say it in Disney, the mouse is gonna be like, oh no, we're gonna smack that ass.
And they're
So
literally gonna smack that ass.
so that wouldn't, yeah, I think that there's that reason why they call it Temp V. I don't think it takes anything away from it. I don't think that it changes much. Um, the deterioration of people who, take Temp V. I can't remember in the comics if it happened the same way that, even though it gave them a boost, most people died from it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they wanted more, and it was a habit forming thing. Um, but there were some side effects to it. I remember that. But
Yeah.
the Tip V thing, the way that they have it going, if Butcher from his use of it is having such bad effects, how come, Huey hasn't had that same thing, or is he? When will he? It was
Yeah.
pretty fucked up with his dad, that shit. Oh
Bro,
my
that
God.
shit was
What?
fucking
What?
brutal.
What? Oh my God. I was sitting there going, no, 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 no. And the fact that his mom had to see that shit, and how his mom and his dad were getting back together, and which, on another note, there's so many people out there that hated that whole part of it, and they're like, "Oh, his
Mm-hmm.
mom, she should have died, and she ain't worth shit." We don't know all the ins and outs of their
Yeah.
shit,
We do start
He,
to get some of her story tied in
yeah, she
now.
couldn't handle it. She had
Yeah.
postpartum and all this other shit, and that's a real shit. And the well, to find out that her and him, his mom and his dad have been communicating for a few years now. That's life.
Yeah.
And it's messy. But Hugh, I felt bad for his dad, because his dad is probably one of the best people in the whole fucking show.
Bro, hands fucking down. From season 1 to the moment he takes his last breath on screen,
Yes.
god damn. And the dude that plays him, what's his name? Um, fucking Shaun of the Dead, dude. I wish I could remember his name.
Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg. Thank you, dude. He's one of those guys. Like I see his name shit pop up on something,
Yeah.
I'm watching
And
it.
I'm gonna watch it.
I'm gonna watch it. And I know
Oh yeah,
he's got
most
another
definitely.
movie coming out too. I want to say it's like a follow up to Shaun of the Dead, like a what happens after, I
Right.
think. And I'm like, dude, I'm here for it. Just put it on the screen. I'm here, you know, because I do enjoy anything he does. So, and I know this next question that I want to talk to you about is probably one of my. I go back and forth on it, right? So in the comic book, we get the female.
Yes,
However,
the female of her
in the
kind.
boys, we get Kimiko. Same person,
Uh-huh.
same everything, but they humanize her in the TV series, basically.
Yeah.
What is your favorite version, or which version do you prefer of the character, Kimiko or the female? Because in the comic book, she's the female. That's it.
I want to say Kamiko because Kamiko is more relatable.
I'm with
Um,
you. Yeah.
and that's by design. They could have made her exactly like, the female of her kind, and just but you wouldn't have those same moments of,
Mm-hmm.
Kamiko being Kamiko.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have those. Um, and for an actress to go, what is 4 seasons and
Never
not
saying
say
a
a
word.
fucking word,
So
but you
the
you
actress who
you
plays
say
her
so much.
is Karen Fukuhara, and
Yes,
she is
Katana
amazing. Yes, Katana, you're absolutely right. She's amazing, dude. Like the
from the
amount
Better
of
Suicide Squad.
yep. Hey, there's no arguments here, dude.
No, that was for all the other people out there.
The Tims. I said that out loud, didn't I? But no, like I watched her on Instagram and like this, like everything that she done to become Kimiko, learning
hmm
sign language and doing all this stuff. And I'm just like, God, she put in the work. And that's probably
You
what
you
she's in one of my favorite characters throughout this entire thing. Even in the comic
you
book.
you have to go to some other place to be able to draw that much
Emotion.
words, emotion, and everything without saying things. Just the looks that she gives, just the shifting of the eyes, the contours of the face. You know exactly what she's saying without her saying it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Even though
know what
she's
I'm
doing
saying?
sign language.
Yes.
But
She's
even when
doing
she
sign
wasn't doing
language.
it,
Yeah.
like she could tell the story with just looks. And
Yes.
that's why like the first time I sit down and watched season 1 and she's introduced and I'm just like, damn, this girl gets it. Like she could tell she went and studied the comic book and
hmm
who this character was, and she didn't
Yep.
just take it as a, oh, they say I'm this. No, she put in the work and it shows. So I'm not mad. And I like you, I do prefer Kimiko because unlike the comic book, in the show she's more humanized, and I think dude, Karen Fukuhara, God, she's fucking slaying it, dude. She's brilliant. Mad
Oh
props to
yeah.
her. So I was wanting to break this down by episode, but with the conversations we're having, I really don't want to do that. So let's do it like this. Let's just talk about some of our favorite parts of, like, let's go the first half of the season. So 1 through 4.
Okay. Let's roll with it.
And I know I mentioned this question to you earlier. Did Mother's Milk get the
hmm
respect he earned, and why did Butcher always feel the need to shat on Mother's Milk? And we're talking
Oh,
TV show Mother's Milk, not
right,
comic book
right.
Mother's Milk.
Okay, one, no, Mother's Milk doesn't get the respect that he deserves. I think that he's got a chance, and him seeing it. There's a reason why they can, at a few times, even Starlight was like, "We need Butcher back.
Yeah.
We need Butcher." because Mother's Milk in the comics cannot and will not do the things that Butcher does.
Mm-hmm.
And he's given the chance to lead the team, and it doesn't exactly go the way that he wants to. He finds out corralling all of them,
Mm-hmm.
including Huey, who's supposed to be his right hand man. It's fucking hard work to do.
Dude, it puts
You know what I'm saying?
Cat Herd into a whole new perspective.
Fuck yeah. So in that aspect, I think that no, he's not. And then again, he gets smacked with a dick and knocked out. At the end of the
Fucking
season,
love
he gets no
sausage,
respect.
man.
He gets no fucking respect.
Who else didn't get any respect?
Um,
It's Rodney
Huey.
Dangerfield, by the way. Rodney Dangerfield said that.
Yeah, but in this one, Huey was. I felt so bad for Huey.
Dude, Huey is
and
portrayed as the biggest bitch in this show.
no, I wouldn't say that he's the biggest bitch, but Huey's the kid that just fucked up shit just keeps happening. How do you not become as fucked up as the fucked up shit that happens to you?
He's a good kid, man.
And that's a testament to his dad.
Yes.
Because I'm sorry. Being down there in Tech Knight's fucking sex dungeon and having that shit happen to me, what? Dude. I'd have killed them all. I'd have killed every last one of them. And Ashley would never have made it to the end.
All right, so let's talk about Ashley. What? Colby Minifee plays Ashley, and dude, she slays this fucking role. Like, she's another one that you can tell, like, she didn't just take her characters like, oh, this is who my character is. No, you could tell she went and put in the work to learn who Ashley really is from the comic book. And fuck, is she not killing it, dude? Like, this season, she was phenomenal.
The evolution. I mean, she's still clearly so terrified.
Yeah, and she knows she's got 100% fucked no matter what.
She knows that sooner or later her clock is getting punched.
Between her and A-Train, it's happening at some point.
Oh my god! And A-Train was like, "Come on, we've got to go. He's got to know." And when she looks at him with that resolve in her face, and it's like, no. If I'm gonna die, I'm not gonna die running or any of this stuff. And that resolve was there, but she wears a wig because she's pulled out all her fucking hair.
Yeah.
She she took Temp V, so we got to figure out how that works out.
Dude, that's one of those where like she's gonna be something completely. I got a feeling that she's not going to be like recognizably human when we see her in season 5.
She's not.
I just don't see it happening.
She's not.
I got a feeling it's going to completely like deform and derange her.
I keep going back to Tech Knight's sex dungeon because that we knew that she was doing old boy and dominating the hell out of him. But no, the not Tech Knight, but the
what's his name? The news guy.
Yeah, the news guy. But then to see her do they thought that Huey was the spider guy.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my god. When she put her hand on his face, there was so much slime.
Oh, bro, that wasn't slime, man.
Fuck, I know it wasn't slime, but how the fuck did she generate that much? What the hell? It was just like, oh dude. Man. What the shit? And then she just went on about her business.
Man, fucking mad props to Huey too, man. Fucking Jack Quaid. I love the dude, man. He's brilliant. And he bodies this character. Like, if they decide 10 years from now, like, oh, we're gonna reboot the boys, the fuck you are. Jack Quaid ain't gonna come back and play Huey.
Listen, he again, over the years and over the seasons, how does he not just become as murderous as Billy is? I mean, he's murked some guys,
He's
some on
yeah.
accident, some on purpose.
Well,
But
let's
but
go back to the very first person he killed by
translucent.
accident. Translucent, when he shoved a stick of dynamite up his fucking ass.
Yeah, yeah. That was one of those things. I wholeheartedly, but Billy, the butcher kills on a whim.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes it's not necessary for him to do the things that he does. Huey is not there yet, and Huey could be. In the comic books, Huey got to that point.
Dude, Huey
And
got to the
that
point
was
where he would just do it.
Yes, and that was the point of Huey, the degradation of Huey in the comics. He's not there yet, but seeing how they ended this season 4,
I got a
they may
feeling
get there.
And since we're gonna freelance this whole thing, when he sees what was his friend in Victoria Newman get ripped apart by the butcher.
Yeah,
I think that could be when we see him come back in season 5. I think that's the version of Huey we're gonna get. Like, he kind of knows, like, this is it for us.
I don't think that it was Victoria doing that, because he had warned Victoria. He had told her, you keep going down this route, you're going to die, and it's not going to be good. I think the part of it is at the end, they separated him and Starlight and took him down.
Well, Starlight did get away.
Oh yeah, she got away, but he's done. I think that's going to be the one that got it. Yeah, and it's again, and that wasn't really Butcher that killed Victoria.
No, that was the parasite.
The parasite.
Yep. His cancer evolved into a parasite with the use of Compound V.
Yep. Because you notice now the cancer isn't killing him. He's not debilitated.
Yep. But he's also not 100% in control of himself.
Oh, he's not Billy. That's not Billy. That's the parasite.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, I want to talk about really episode 4. Let's do episode 4, because I kind of felt like that was Homelander's beginning to his end. I think this is where he really kind of fucking loses himself in his own head, other than the fact that he's collecting his gray hairs in a jar.
Right.
And I'm not going to say what hair it was. But so he goes back to the lab that he was grown in, and he torments and tortures like the main people at the lab. And dude, it is probably one of the bloodiest like episodes that we get. Because I mean, the one guy who used to watch him in the furnace,
the kiln, the furnace.
Yep, he cooks the dude like crispy critters. This motherfucker, like, it got so hot it burned the bone in the ash. And I was like, oh damn. He's like, you used to watch me when I was a kid, when y'all would stick me in here to see if it would burn me.
Yep, how hot it got. And he goes, I never burned, but that shit still hurt.
Yeah.
Like the one dude, he shot his dick off.
He didn't just shoot his dick off. He put a hole through where
through his body is.
His junk used to be.
Yeah.
And then the lady in charge, I forgot did he just lock her in the silence room?
He locked her in the silence room with all of their dead bodies.
Yes, like all the lab tests,
Yeah,
everybody.
he killed the rest of them and locked her in there with them.
And you know what's going to happen to her in this room where you can hear nothing but your blood flowing through your body.
Yep.
Like how fast it would take for it to like drive you insane.
Now I don't think that was where he really started losing himself at.
I mean,
I
he
think that
started. Yeah, go ahead.
so remember he talked about, this whole season from last season, the ending of last season, and throughout the season was them doing whatever the fuck that they want to do because he's
Who's going to stop
Homelander.
him?
Who the fuck is going to
Yeah.
stop him? And so going back, he had always had terror about this place and those people. This was him taking back, in the bloodiest, most fucked up way that he knew how. But basically, he was subjecting them to the same shit that subjecting them to the same shit that they subjected him to, and did so for years. They basically tortured him. I had no problem with Homelander doing this.
Yeah.
For me, where he started losing it was seeing that his son wanted more to do with Billy the Butcher than him.
Yeah. You're right.
That right there started fucking with him on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And then him getting a new milkmaid.
Fucking what's her name? Firecracker.
Yeah.
God,
that scene right there, just the surprise that he had,
like the fact that she would do that for him.
When she first popped that out, he's like, I'm not even remotely interested in you like that. And then she squirted him, and he's like, the surprise and the awe was like, he was like, you did that for me?
Yeah. And then
but she made herself sick.
Yeah, she made herself sick. He's like, when he hands her a tissue, he's like, no, move. No, father. All right, let's talk about
Sage.
Go ahead. Let's do Sage.
Sage, no, on that, Sage helped participate that. You remember she was like, keep doing what you need to do to keep him, to in your voice. She knew what was going to happen and how he was going to react to it.
Yep. But no, I wanted to real quick. Let's close out Huey's dad because he closed out. Let's. So he is given Temp V. No, I think he was given full up Compound V.
He was given the V that was in Homelander's
dresser, which is a full
dresser. Up. Yeah, those are the last vials of Compound V.
Yep, and his dad who suffered a stroke in episode 1. Yep. And what happened is when he woke up, and at first he was fine, but then they're like, okay, we're going to go and we'll be back. And when they get back, they find out that he's awakened again. And he's basically like, he's unintentionally murdering
everyone.
Like everyone in the hospital. Because he has no clue what's going on. He doesn't even know like where he's at, what he's doing, or anything.
He doesn't remember. He doesn't remember years. He doesn't remember any of that. He remembers that his wife left him. He doesn't remember him getting over it or any of that stuff. So when he was coming at her, Huey was like, "Okay, stop, Dad."
Yeah. He's like, you're not Huey, but Huey's, a boy.
Yeah, Huey's a kid. You're not Huey. Yeah.
But
when he ran through that bed and that dude.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Yeah. That was God, it wasn't the bloodiest scene, but that was definitely a unique one. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And it's not the
Yeah.
first time we had seen something similar to that, but that was one of the ones where it was just like who got the worst of that deal, the dead guy or Huey's dad? Because Huey's dad still has no clue what's going on or what's
Yeah.
happening to him.
Yeah. That's the worst. The worst. The worst.
But I think his mom and himself, they did the right thing when they were finally able to get him
Put his
laid down
dad.
and then put him down, basically.
Yeah.
So,
And that's one of those things is when do you do something like that, And I think that they did it at exactly the right, most
yes.
applicable time.
And it was perfect. It was like right at a mid-season, kind of like season finale turn point is when that happened. And Rob has dropped again, but we'll keep pressing on until he can rejoin us. And yeah, good times are happening today with his internet wherever he is staying at this week. So we just closed out on Huey's father and him finally being, them attempting to save him, to them, eventually being the ones that had to put him down. But what we were about to talk about and take a moment to discuss was the Deep and his serious depravity when it comes to his lady friends in his life, aquatic and non-aquatic. And I was going to give big ups to Chase Crawford, who brought the Deep's character to the screen for us. And that dude, like, freaking nailed this role. Like, there can never be another Deep after this because Chase Crawford absolutely slammed this role. He he lost his wife, his newfound wife that they gave to him to help cure him of whatever was ailing him in his depraved ways, to having his secret girlfriend in the closet, i.e. his octopus. And that was fucked up, really fucked up, to him eventually, having relations with Sage, who apparently also was just as depraved as him, maybe not as much, but still, nonetheless, she was just as depraved, between her taking advantage of the poor old Deep and Black Noir at the time. So we've already hit on Tech Knight's House of Depravity and Huey's undercover business as the Web Weaver. And we're kind of closing in toward the end of season 4. And I was wanting to kind of like dig into basically where we are going in season 5, with them having the ability to make the virus that could possibly kill all the Supes, to include Homelander, to them just having maybe, I think, enough to possibly kill Homelander, maybe. So there's that. And really, episode 8 is kind of like we get to visit. Ron visits Butcher in the hospital with Mallory, and they were trying to convince Ron to possibly kill his father. But that kind of upsets Ron, and Ron does accidentally kill Mallory, who has been the biggest points of Hey, late's better than never, man. Because right now I am talking to myself because Rob dropped out for like the 5th time, and I'm just trying to make it through to the end, and I can close out this episode because this has been a rough one as we've been talking about the boys. And but yeah, so Ryan accidentally kills Mallory and runs away from. Basically, Ryan should have just ran the fuck away to begin with, because nobody in his life was a positive influence on that poor kid. And it's bad enough he's Homelander's son. And then so again, with Homelander's, growing paranoia, he directs what's left of the 7 to kill everyone in Vought Tower, and who may or may not have discriminating evidence against the crimes that these 7 have committed. Which, I mean, really, everybody knows what the 7 has committed and all the crimes they have done. But in that haste, Ashley, poor old Ashley, went from the CEO of the company to being just a flunky in the company, leads her to injecting herself with Compound V. And we never really see her after she injects herself with Compound V. So it's going to be interesting when season 5 rolls around, what has become of Ashley and her injecting herself with the Compound V. I got a feeling it's not going to be a pretty sight for her, but who knows? And as I was saying earlier, now, Kamiko ends up infected with the virus that could possibly take out all the soups. And then, so Frenchie saws off her leg very violently to save Kamiko's life, because we all know Kamiko's going to regrow her leg. So that's going to be a kind of a non-issue there. And then Frenchie uses her infected leg to recreate the virus that it is going to be able to supposedly kill the soups. And so then Singer, who is the president-elect, the boys discover that there is a shapeshifter out there who is working with the 7 to kill Singer. That way they can put Victoria Newman in charge. But they discover that the shapeshifter is actually, she has kidnapped Annie, aka Starlight, and become Annie. And so that's when they realize that while they're in the bunker with President-elect Singer, that Annie is the one who is the shapeshifter. And during this time, Victoria Newman and Homelander are on a news program, and Homelander outs Victoria as being a soup herself, which up until this point she had kept a secret. And of course, with that happening, it freaks Victoria out, and she calls Huey to protect her and her daughter Zoe, who, by the way, Victoria injected with Compound V as well, and had her own episode of soup rampaging of eating people. And but anyways, so the boys, they go to meet Newman, and as they're meeting Newman, Butcher shows up, and Butcher basically kills Newman with his I don't want to say new powers, because it's not really powers, it's his cancer has evolved into a parasite that is overtaken him, basically. And he steals the virus from Frenchie, rips Newman in half, and then when back at the 7 headquarters, Sister Sage returns to tell Homelander that everything has gone as planned and it was a success because Singer has been arrested. And Gibbs is back.
Sorry, man.
Dude,
Oh my god.
I've been kind of like synopsing like the final episode when you popped back in. So that's kind of where I'm at with Singer being arrested for conspiring with the boys to kill Newman.
Yes.
And so now Singer's been arrested. Newman's been ripped in half by Billy's parasite.
Yeah.
And so now the Speaker of the House is become the new president. Yep. And swears allegiance to Homelander and declares martial law, which probably ain't the best idea with Homelander in charge. So then the boys are ambushed. They're captured by Vought.
Yep.
And the only one of everybody who manages to escape is Annie. And of course, Butcher escapes and he has the virus with him. And I don't think the virus is enough to be the normal virus, if I'm remembering correctly. It's just enough to possibly kill Homelander. And of course, the Speaker of the House is like, oh, you're looking for Soldier Boy, and directs Homelander where Soldier Boy is being held in cryogenic freezing. Well, he's not cryogenically freezing. There's another gas or drug out there that puts them in.
Something that's keeping them frozen, yeah.
Yeah. And they don't age normally anyway.
Right.
Because, I mean, shit, at this point, Soldier Boy is in his 80s or 90s. Yeah. So it was a very wild time with the shapeshifters and...
Oh, Jesus.
Mother's Milk having second thoughts and just thinking about running away.
Yeah.
Just going to be with his family. Homelander killing Web Weaver. And fucking Web Weaver. Like, I don't know how to put this, but when Web Weaver gets nervous or anxious, the dude literally can't stop shooting webs.
Out his ass.
It's literally, it's not out of his ass. He's got a little thing above his ass, like a spider would have. Yeah. And that's how he shoots webs. And it's just like, it's absolutely fucking disgusting. Like Jesus fucking Christ. But, yeah, man, I think we're at a good spot. Let's do this. I did want to discuss with you. I did mention this a little bit because I really wanted to talk about the Deep and his depravity.
Oh, Jesus.
And I wanted to give props to Chase Crawford for bringing us the Deep and Deep Thoughts with the Deep, because those are some of the best shorts out there, man.
So the Deep is... The Deep has gone from doing anything and everything for acceptance to accepting that he is superior. Thanks again, Sister Sage.
Yep.
And that allowed him to be... That was done for two reasons she did that. One, because I think she truly believes, why the fuck are you letting her tell you what to do?
Yep.
You were superior to her in every way.
Yep.
And two, to destabilize Ashley. So it was a 2-for-1 stone.
Mm-hmm.
But,
and she also used it to get her own rocks off too.
Well, she did with but she had to lobotomize herself to do the Deep. And then we find out she was doing Black Noir too. And she wasn't lobotomizing herself.
Yep. I mean, we're talking the Deep here. Like, the Deep went from having a wife at the beginning of the season,
to
having another octopus.
Well, no, it's the same octopus from
the same one.
seasons.
Yep, the same octopus.
Murders her. That to me was that was where the Deep really gets. I mean, from the first season, he gets no redemption.
Yeah.
But him murdering the octopus, that was. Dude, that's fucking low.
Yeah, that his redemption arc was like on point by that time until he did that.
No, he wasn't going to get no redemption from
Well,
me.
you
He
not
was still
necessarily
doing
a
stupid,
redemption, but
shitty shit.
his character, like the level of his character, like kind of like, okay, we're now learning that. Okay, now he's finally realized, like, dude's you're a fucking suit man.
Yes.
And then he's like, oh, but let me murder
Okay,
my girl
I'm
real
tracking.
quick. Yeah.
And then he lets her die, and effectively murdering her. And then you see from there, he's just
That fucked him up, I think, a lot more than he expected it to.
yeah.
Especially once he realized that Sage is also sleeping with Black Noir and not lobotomizing herself.
That shit is hilarious. And the war is like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm walking away. Hell yeah. So yes, the Deep is one. Both the Deep and A Train have to die.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They both have to die for different reasons, but they both have to die.
Yeah. The second Black Noir. The first one's already dead. He had his shit ripped out.
Oh no, I wasn't talking about Noir. I'm talking about the Deep and A Train.
Oh, A Train. Yeah.
Now Noir
right.
is going to die too. I do believe.
Yeah.
I believe Noir's going to die, or he might die. He has a 50-50 chance of making it because he's just doing the shit because
that's what he was hired to do.
That's what he was hired to do. And he's like, okay, but he doesn't really want to. He's like, dude, this is some fucked up shit. Dude,
when he started talking, I was like, oh my God. All right.
But he's not above doing some doing the shit, but he's like, what the fuck are we doing?
I just want to know direction. What direction is my character going? I'm like, dude.
So he may make it, but he may not make it. But the Deep and A Train, they have to die.
Yeah. Like, okay, I want to ask you this. What was your favorite death this season? Like the one death where you're like, fuck it, it's about time that person is done.
Oh shit. What? Oh fuck.
I know. I saved the hard one for last.
What? The one this season that said, ha ha, yes, I'm glad they're dead.
Yes.
I don't know if I have one of those. It might have to be Victoria.
Okay.
Because she's been dancing too long and it's time she died.
Yeah.
I think that was probably the one for me for this, this season. Who was yours?
It was a toss-up, really, between Victoria and Tech Knight. I hated Tech Knight's character from the very beginning. When they introduced him on Gen V, I was like, I hate this motherfucker. Like that smug arrogance that he carried onto which is his job. And the guy, whoever played him, fucking fantastic
job.
Did
a great job. Yeah.
But goddamn, when he finally, his butler put a fucking cap in him. And he's like, I'm so tired of cleaning up after his ass. And then pops him. And then he's like, y'all, here's a secret door. Y'all go.
Y'all go. I'll clean this shit up. Don't worry about this shit. I got this.
I was like, all right, yeah. Yep. I'm like,
that's somebody who has suffered and is like,
yes. This poor fella, man. He was like, yeah, I'm enough of this shit.
Yeah.
But all right, that was my final question. Any last bits from you?
On the boys itself, no, nothing really huge. I did say that A Train had to go, but A Train had probably one of the most heartfelt moments out there when he rushed old boy to the hospital.
Yeah, MM. Yep.
And the
He had his
kid
hero
looked at
moment.
him.
Yep.
He had his hero moment, and he's like, that's how this should feel.
Yep.
And I love that he got that for him, but when he dies, I'm gonna be like, God, I hope he goes out a hero.
Yeah. No,
You know,
I'm with you with that one, especially on
I
A
hope
Train, man. He became such a likable character this season
oh
that
no, I still hated him. He is not a likable character. He's doing it out of necessity.
yeah. Yeah.
Uh, to he's doing it out of necessity to try and stay alive. But in doing so, he's finding, he had his hero moment. He had that hero moment,
Mm-hmm.
and he wishes that, like he told Huey, listen,
Yeah.
man. He's like, listen, man, I know this and this, but I'm trying. You know, it's
You see, to
I
me,
think that
that's the scene that said, "Damn, I actually kind of like him."
yeah, no, that's the scene that I said his death is even going to be more tragic because of how he's got to die.
Yeah.
It's going to be this futile
Oh,
fight against Homelander that's going to hurt, even with him killing Huey's girl, even with him doing some of the fucked up shit like he did to his own girlfriend.
yep.
The way that he's just let his brother get dissed and all of that shit that he has done in that one moment when he's futilely trying to fight Homelander and is getting fucked up and killed, you're going to say, God damn, fuck, A-Train! You deserved it, you bastard, but God
Oh yeah,
damn it!
dude. It's funny. I say like, I'm liking where he's going and all this. My thing is, if he would have died after he saved MM, I wouldn't have been mad at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like he got his hero moment. And if he would have been discovered at that point, like, oh, this motherfucker is the traitor, and Homelander would have just did him in right there,
Uh-huh.
I could have been like, oh, okay, yeah, no, he got his moment, and then Homelander was like, you're done.
Yeah, I could have seen them dying right then, but I think that they're waiting for a huge, impactful moment.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be one of those that it's going to be, where we really feel for A-Train.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to make him saving Mother's Milk was part of his redemption arc. But, like Huey said, there's no redemption for you.
Mm-hmm.
you know, Huey would still kill him if he
Oh,
could.
dude,
But
with in a blink of an eye, he would do it.
but that is my last shot. My last takeaway is fuck.
Yeah,
It's all the perfect storm that is set up. That next season is just gonna be a beast of a fucking
dude,
season.
and it's the final, so
I
it's
don't
gonna
think we're
be
ready. I don't think we're ready.
it's gonna be well over the top. So I will
I
ask
don't think
this
we're ready.
part and shot. If you had to recommend The Boys, would you recommend the comic book to somebody or the TV show?
Yes.
Perfect fucking answer.
Yes. First of all, it depends on the person because I don't recommend The Boys for
No, I don't either.
casuals.
No.
But if you're a person that I'm going to recommend it to, I'm going to tell you watch The Boys, then read. I'm going to tell you do both. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to tell you to watch The Boys, then read the
Yeah.
comic.
Yeah, I could be down with that.
Yep. Because if you do it the other way around, you're going to fuck yourself up.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna fuck. You're not gonna want to do the other one if you read it first.
Exactly.
So with that, everybody, if you stuck around, I appreciate it. Yes, I apologize for all our technical difficulties tonight.
I am so sorry, you guys. That's the
and then having
way
to
of
listen
travel.
to me kind of like just drag on for a little bit. I do apologize. With that, I want to thank everybody that did tune in for tuning in. Big props to Ben and to Pop Break for loaning me Ben, basically. You'll see
There you
Ben
go.
again. We're bringing Ben back for part 2 of Cobra
Big
Kai.
Ben?
And I'm not sure when our next episode will be, but we will have a next episode. It'll probably be, it definitely won't be anytime this month, because I'm going to spend the last week probably still crying because my daughter's gone to college. And I have a birthday in there, so I'm going to celebrate my birthday. I don't know how old I'm going to be, but we'll go 23 again.
There we go.
Big thanks to everybody, like I said, for tuning in. Big thank you to DFPN as always for allowing me to have a platform to share with y'all. Big props to Gibbs, who just dropped again, which is funny. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. We're closing out the shop, and as always, we want your feedback. Drop your comments in there. Let us know what you're thinking, or you can reply to any of our social medias. As always, hit that like, subscribe, and share. And on behalf of myself, my cat who just jumped up here, and the Council of Nerds, this show is USDN approved.
It's a trap!